Welcome to Wall Stadium in Wall Township, New Jersey for professional auto racing. TV 34 presents Turkey Derby 21. 3 big divisions of stock cars, the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds, Pro Stocks, and Street Stocks all in competition. Hi everyone, I'm Jeff Gravatt. Thanks for watching our exclusive coverage of Turkey Derby 21. Along with me today, to provide his expert commentary, is Vinnie Green. Vinnie's a former driving champion with a lot of history at Wall Stadium and a lot of history in Turkey Derby action as well. Vinnie Green, tell me, what exactly does it mean to a driver to race in a Turkey Derby at Wall Stadium?
This is a race of consistency and patience, and also the biggest factor in this race is saving your tires, because you're not allowed a tire change between each of the events.
Now, do you feel tires is going to be a big part of this race? How about the car, the engine? How important is good handling on a chilly day?
That's probably the most important thing, is handling, getting the car hooked up right away, and conserving your tires, because a car that doesn't handle properly wears the tires faster, and at the end of the last 50-lap race, you're going to be in trouble.
Of course, we're mainly talking about the modifieds here, but you've raced in the pro stocks when they were modern stocks. You had a lot of success. Do the pro stock drivers and the street stock drivers get as pumped about Turkey Derby as the modified drivers do?
Sure you do. You get pumped if you're driving a street stock, a modern stock, or a pro stock, and a modified just the same as you would drive in a Winston Cup car.
Well, Vinnie, we have a lot of action to cover here on Turkey Derby 21. We'll get right onto the raceway right after this. Jensen, car number 12, Brian Sisko, a pair of former champions. Row number 2, the 21 of Dave Garfinkel, and the 53 of Surprise Tom Manning, 5th fastest in time trials on Friday. Row number 3, the 28, Hamilton's Doug Jacoby, and in the 18 of former Turkey Derby champion 2 times over, Lenny Boyd. Your next row will be the 38, Dan McLaughlin, the fast timer in time trials. Starting in the 8th spot, car number 32, Jerry Cramner, another former champion. Taking a look back at row number 5, 14 is Harry Reid, and the 72, Mike Carpenter, the 1994 driving champion. The action. Row number 8, the 59 of Barney Truex, and the 40, last year's overall Turkey Derby champion, Ken Woolley. Then we go to row number 9, the 19 of Jeff Loesch is outside the Sunoco Ultra Service Center's 94, Richie Engelhardt. Looks like hot laps now, Vinnie Green. Time to heat up the tires. What, if anything, can you learn during hot laps?
Well, basically, I always try to look ahead and see what each lane is going to do, see who's going to get hooked up right away, who's not, and try to visualize what's going to happen the first few laps of the race.
Can you really do that? Do the drivers show their hands then, or do they realize that everyone else is watching them?
Basically, everybody's trying to run just about as hard as they can, trying to put as much heat in the tires as possible.
All right, well, the driver's doing that just now, heating up the tires, getting the engines warm. Triple 50-lap main events, a big bonus posted by Pete Nettles Bar, Carmen's Pizzeria, and Jam Racing Engines. If any driver can win all 3, $5,000 on top of everything else. Vinnie Green, what are the chances of one driver winning all 3 main events?
Pretty much slim and none, but also depends a lot on the draw.
All right, of course, they will draw for restarting positions in our next 2 main events for the modifieds. We also have pro stock and street stock racing action this afternoon. Starters, Donnie Erickson and Mike Sancelli on the starter stand, getting ready to send these cars on the way. right now, the fans will be waving to the drivers. They'll be returning their good luck wishes, and we're hoping for a safe afternoon at Turkey Derby 21. Just a few moments here. The field now getting ready to go on the backstretch. J.J. Jensen in the X2, the 12 of Brian Sisko. And we should be getting underway very shortly. Field working their way out of turns 3 and 4. And it looks like we have a start, Vinnie Green. We are underway with Turkey Derby 21. Down that backstretch the first time, the X2 of J.J. Jensen is the leader. Jensen has had some great luck in Turkey Derbies in the past. Would like to take the overall crown today. Vinnie Green is early in the event. Jensen's out front at the moment. Would you like to be in that position as a driver? Is that the place to be right now?
Yeah, it's definitely the place to be. You can pretty much set the pace of the race when you're leading, and unless they put pressure on you, you don't really have to go any faster. You just go fast enough to win.
All right, if you were J.J. Jensen at the moment, what would you do? Would you try to take care of those tires, or would you put your foot to the floor?
Well, when you're up front, you don't have cars alongside you. You can use as much as a racetrack as possible. Try not to put as much scrub into the tires. That also helps your tire wear, obviously.
All right, how about having a guy like Brian Sisko in the 12 right on your bumper? Would you be worried?
I try not to look in my mirror because I'm concentrating basically on what I'm doing in the race car. And really, who's behind me or what's behind me really doesn't matter.
And Vinny, I believe we may have trouble up in turns 1 and 2. And yes, I see DJ Donofrio 68, Steve Rogers in the 4Q. Now there's a interesting story. Steve Rogers was a guaranteed starter for this event by virtue of a win back on October 15th in a qualifier. Now he had to start dead last, a lot of mechanical problems. And how would you go about running that race if you started dead last?
Pretty much I would try to save as much car as possible and let attrition take its toll on whoever is going to drop out for whatever reason, and advance as much as I could without punishing the car too much.
Well, Steve Rogers is going to have another chance to do just that, as he will have to come from the back again after being involved in that accident. DJ Donofrio in the Thunderbolt number 68. Appears to be the only car sitting on the speedway. He's over in turn number 2. And we are under caution with just a handful of laps in the books. I believe 3 laps have been completed, Vinny. Yellow flag laps do not count in these races. Yellow flag laps will not count in any of these triple 50-lap main events.
Looks like DJ has some pretty serious damage up in his right front.
Now, you know a lot about these race cars, obviously. I know it's hard to tell from this vantage point, but do you think there's a chance of repairs? They do have a break before the next main event.
Knowing DJ, he probably does have all the pieces necessary to put his wheel back together again and put his suspension back on, so I think he'll be ready for the next race.
You know, Vinnie Green, a lot of people looking for you out there in competition in your number 78, and where are you this weekend? Well, we know you're with us here. Why aren't you on the racetrack?
Well, we're kind of in between houses right now. I have one for sale, and I'm having a new one built, and I figure I would spectate this race out and see what happened, and I had the opportunity to come and work with you.
How about next year? What's the plans for that?
I'll be here next year.
You will be. All right. You still looking for some sponsors for that 78?
Yes, we are.
All right. Well, that would help get you back on the track. Sponsors an important part. And right now, you can bet DJ Donofrio is going to try to fix that car for his sponsors so he can be out here in our second 250-lap main events. Just about 3 laps in the books. 3 laps in the books. That means 47 laps remain. Early going of Turkey Derby 21. I'm Jeff Gravatt along with Vinnie Green. Hope you're enjoying the action. We have a lot of it this afternoon. Mike Sancelli signaling the drivers that we should be going back to action within a matter of a lap or 2. All right, they're lined up in double file order here at Wall Stadium. Restarts up until halfway, double file order. After that, it's single file. And the yellow lights wink right back on. Do you think there's a problem with Jensen's car? or did he just want to control the race, Vinny?
No, I think Brian Sisko jumped the race on the outside, and JJ said, "Oh, no, you don't. I'm supposed to start the race, not you."
Now, basically, in racing, the rule is that the pole sitter kind of controls the restart. Am I correct?
Right. He's in control of the entire race. If he doesn't feel it's safe to start the race, or he doesn't feel everybody's in position, he has the opportunity not to start the race.
So with 3 laps in the book, J.J. Jensen takes advantage of that opportunity and keeps the car going slow. We'll rack him up, try it again. How's it look to you, Vinny? It looks like a battle royal out there, a potent front row.
Yeah, this looks good. I think J.J. might try to get him again. He snookered him on the first restart. Let's see what happens on the third.
All right, we're about ready to go back to action. Although there is trouble on that backstretch. Jerry Cranmer, apparently kind of a victim of a bumper run back there. Looks like some front end damage for the Manahawkin Automotive number 32. And apparently Jerry Cranmer got hooked up when everybody kind of fetched up out there.
Yeah, that happens a lot. A guy in front of you stops and you can't stop in time. You hit from behind and break your steering.
So the action is slowed down just a bit right now. The track crew helping to get Jerry Cranmer off the track. And we'll be back with more of Turkey Derby 21 in just a moment. Welcome back to TV 34's coverage of Turkey Derby 21. I'm Jeff Gravatt. Modified driver Vinny Green here with us, helping us to call the action and take an inside look at the drivers and cars of Turkey Derby 21. 3 laps in the books. Thus far, J.J. Jensen in the X2, trying to hold off Brian Sisko in car number 12. Early going, just 3 laps in the books, and 47 laps remaining. Looks like a nice double file setup on the backstretch, Vinny Green, and we are about ready to go back to action. Jensen will lead him out of turn number 4. And there's the green. We are back underway. Brian Sisko working well in the high groove. Let's see who takes the lead, Vinny.
Yeah, the highway is the fast way here. It looks like Brian's got it pretty much under control right about now.
Tell you, at this moment, Tom Manning impressing a lot of folks in car 53, Vinny.
Yes, he is. He hasn't raced here much this year, but he's looking pretty good today.
Working the high groove, at least to me as a fan, I would think that's the tougher groove. How is that groove on the speedway?
It's definitely the fastest groove, but it's definitely the toughest groove because you don't have anywhere to hide when you're in a high groove. You have the fence on one side and cars on the inside.
It's got to be tough. Out of turn 4 and down the front, Brian Sisko, a former champ in this division, is your leader. Another champion, J.J. Jensen, right on his bumper. Tom Manning runs in 3rd spot. Then Dave Garfinkel and Dan McLaughlin. Down the front stretch they come again. It's Brian Sisko, your leader. J.J. Jensen 2nd. Tom Manning 3rd. Kind of tough to get used to that. But Tom Manning doing a good job at this moment.
Yeah, he certainly is, Jeff. Looks like he's got a handle on his car today. He's holding his own in 3rd so far.
All right, Vinny Green, I'm going to put you on the spot. You're in car number X2. You're running 2nd spot.
Right.
Early in the race, what are your plans?
What I would do right now is wait for Brian to make a mistake. He's only going to make 1 or 2 mistakes, if any at all, and you have to take advantage of it when he does.
Well, there you have it. I can bet J.J. Jensen doing the same thing right now, watching every move of your leader, Brian Sisko. And it looks like that great run of Tom Manning's may have come to an end. He is slowly moving down the front stretch of car 53. Looks like he'll park it. Meanwhile, back up front, it is the 12 of Brian Sisko, still leading the event. J.J. Jensen applying a little bit of the bumper there.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to rattle Brian's cage, but he's pretty tough to rattle. I've been behind him for a while, and let me tell you. Uh-oh, we have a spin.
All right, it does look like trouble for Lenny Boyd up in turn number 3, and we may have a couple of cars in the guardrail as well. Vinnie Green, can you tell there? We see a lot of smoke. Is it smoke, steam? What could be the problem?
Smoke or steam. It looks like his engine expired because he's got water entering the turn. So he might have blew his motor. It looks like the 88 and 59 got tangled up in that water. And let me tell you, there's nothing you can do when you hit it.
There's the 88 of Alan Krevling, the 59, Barney Truex, and they are in the guardrail. Tell you, if you can, give us an idea. What's that sensation? You just said you hit water, you hit moisture, nothing you can do. What's it feel like? What do you try to do?
It's basically, Jeff, like being on ice. You actually seems like you pick up speed when you do hit it. The only thing you can do is turn the wheel to the left, pump the brakes, but really it doesn't do you much good.
Here's a replay. We can get a look at the action here on the speedway.
Yeah, he definitely blew.
Well, there you have it. Our expert, Vinnie Green, believes it's a blown motor under the hood of the 18, and that is Lenny Boyd, the Bob Nee, number 18. Lenny, from what I understand, Lenny didn't get the ride until Wednesday night. He got the call from Bob Nee. Apparently, Bob Nee figured he'd use some of the expertise of Lenny Boyd trying to get that car set up, trying to get in the victory lane, and it all goes up in smoke real early. That must be a disappointing feeling for a driver. A lot of preparation for this race.
Yeah, it sure is disappointing because you never know when it's going to happen. It just happens, and before the smoke clears, it's all over. I was talking to Lenny yesterday for a while in the pits. I asked him how he liked driving these cars, and he said it's probably one of the hardest race cars to drive he's ever driven, simply because of the power, and they have to be so accurate as far as the chassis setup is concerned and handling, because with the limited power that we do have, chassis setup and tire combination is just about everything. You have to keep the momentum up here. If you lose your momentum, you're going to get passed, and it's hard to make up space when you don't have the power. Like in a modified car, you step on the gas and it explodes into the next spot. These cars don't have the capability. You'll be lucky if you're making 400 horsepower with one of these cars.
I guess you'd call them a driver's car. We do have action going on in the pit area, by the way, Vinny. Few drivers taking the opportunity to try to make repairs. That looks like the 88 of Alan Krevling. He was involved in the aftermath, and he will return to the track. 11 laps are in the books. 11 laps are down. 39 remain. Now there's the Mid-Atlantic Foods 59, Barney Truex, a second-generation driver. Vinny, it looks like the rubber tires there at the pit exit may have saved him.
Yeah, sure did. If he would have been over another couple of feet, he'd have been in big trouble.
But it looks like everybody's A-OK, nobody injured. And I guess the first alternate better be ready, because it doesn't look like Lenny Boyd will be able to return with car number 18. Track crew doing some cleanup out there, spreading the speedy dry to soak up the moisture. Another question, Vinny. What's it like when you restart 100 miles an hour and you run into that speedy dry on the racetrack?
You remember what happened to me last year, don't you? I shortened my car about 5 feet, so it's not very easy when you have cars behind you and around you and you hit the speedy dry and it just doesn't want to steer, it doesn't want to turn, it doesn't want to do anything.
And of course last year with you complicating it, cars behind you couldn't steer, couldn't turn either.
They couldn't do anything either. We were all a victim of the speedy dry and the wet track and also the cold racetrack.
So we have 11 laps down here in the first of triple 50s for the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds Turkey Derby number 21. Brian Sisko in the 12 continues to be your leader. J.J. Jensen in the X2 led early. He now runs second. Dave Garfinkel in the 21 is third. Car number 38, your fast time trialer on Friday, Dan McLaughlin rides fourth. Looks like Doug Jacoby up the fifth spot in the 28. Sixth, I believe, Mike Carpenter, your 1994 driving champion. And Vinny, with 6 wins overall, a big win in the Garden State Classic and the Independent 76. Mike Carpenter had one heck of a year.
Yeah, he had an exceptional year down here because the competition down here seems to get a little tougher every year. And to win 6 features down here in one season, you really have to be proud of that because it's not easy to do.
And of course, Vinny, you had a good season. You had your ups and downs, but a second straight win in the Budweiser Crown Classic. How do you feel about your season?
I was a little disappointed with it, but all in all, when I look back at my total finishes, actually my finishes this year have been better than the previous year, except last year I had more wins, but I also had some other finishes that weren't so good. All my finishes this year have basically been in the top 5.
So Vinny Green taking off Turkey Derby to watch the action. It looks like the driver is taking a few hot laps and scuffing off that speedy drive. We see that Barney Truex in the 59 ready to return to the racetrack, Vinny Green.
Yeah, I thought he might have had more damage, but it looks like he got away lucky this time.
Still a long way to go. 11 laps in the books in the first of triple 50s. Once again, keep in mind, if one driver can win all 3 of these, $5,000 bonus on top of purse monies. And let's face it, if he wins all 3, he's going to be the overall champion. And that driver could pocket $9,000. Tall order, but it's worth shooting for.
Yeah, it's a nice day's work, let me tell you.
Well, we're lining them up once again. It will be a double file restart. Vinny Green, where would you rather be right now? Double file restart. Let's look at that front row. Do you want to be on the pole or on the outside, and why?
Oh, it depends on who's next to me. Right now, if I was in the front, I'd rather be on the pole. Simply because you can control the race from there. And with these cars, whoever hits the gas first is going to get the advantage on the restart.
Well, they hit the gas, and we go back to action. And Brian Sisko gets the advantage. Here comes Dave Garfinkel in the 21. Lots of action up there in that speedy dry, just like you predicted, Vinny Green.
Yeah, Dave bumped wheels a little bit with JJ. Got out of shape.
There's some action at the back of the pack. Harry Reid in the 14, the 66 of Bobby Watt. We go right back to the leader, Brian Sisko.
Mike Carpenter's moving up through the field now. He's in 4th place.
Car 72, Mike Carpenter up to 4th. Watch him, a 6-time winner, your driving champion. Now we see J.J. Jensen down in the low groove, and it appears car's ready to pass him. Might there be a problem?
I don't think it's a problem. I think he's just caught down there. If you get caught down in that bottom groove, it kind of bogs your motor down a little bit, and the cars on the outside are going to have the advantage.
Well, apparently the cars on the outside do have the advantage, as Dan McLaughlin in the Heck Trailer 38 up the 2nd spot. Mike Carpenter in the Mike Kennedy Racing 72 up to 3rd. Jensen slips to 4th. Your leader is still Brian Sisko.
Mike's putting pressure on Dan McLaughlin right now.
That appears to be the best battle on the speedway at the moment. Mike Carpenter's 72 on the bumper of Dan McLaughlin's 38.
He should have him the next time around.
Mike Carpenter appears to have a lot of power in that 72.
Yeah, he has a lot of power, and the car handles exceptionally well, and that's the key to winning down here is the handling race car.
Well, Mike Carpenter now up to 2nd spot in that Mike Kennedy Racing 72. Vinny Green still have a long way to go, about 30 laps. You think the 72 can catch a 12?
I really think he can catch the 12, especially if there's another restart, double file. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out ahead of that one.
I'll tell you, this is interesting for you and I. 12 right now is kind of an unknown commodity. The car really hasn't raced that much this year. We haven't seen that car race regularly in about 2 years. We don't know what it has or how long it can last.
Well, Brian Sisko built that car, so he knows that car better than anyone else. He's been down here practicing with it. I had him on a watch yesterday. He's running pretty consistent and fast times with it, but looks like Mike Carpenter's working a little bit better in the middle of the corner than he is.
I'll tell you, it looked like Mike Carpenter sent out a hook and line on Sisko's back bumper and just reeled him in.
Yeah, he definitely has him in his gun sights.
Turkey Derby 21 action continues here at Wall Stadium. Your leader, Brian Sisko, in the 12. On his bumper, Mike Carpenter, the newly crowned driving champion. And this looks like the best seat in the house right now, this battle for the lead.
Brian Sisko, if he gives up the bottom a little bit, Mike Carpenter's going to get underneath him.
Do you think at the moment Mike Carpenter trying to find a way to get into the bottom? And can Mike perhaps make a hole?
Mike can definitely make a haul. I don't think Brian knows how well Mike works underneath, and that's to Mike's advantage right now.
There's some action back in the pack. We see Ken Woolley, last year's driving champion in the 40, working his way through the pack. A lot of action on the speedway all over the racetrack. We go back to your leaders, however. Brian Sisko in the 12, the 72 of Mike Carpenter.
Now Mike's looking to the outside of him to see which way's the fast way around him.
Now, you've raced with Mike Carpenter a lot. Where does that car seem to work better, low, high, or is it good everywhere?
It's good everywhere on the racetrack. That's why he's got those 6 wins.
Lap traffic coming into play. Dan McLaughlin in the 38 dropping off the pace. He suddenly goes a lap down. Now Mike Carpenter looking to the high side. Vinnie Green, if you were in that second place car, where would you try, low or high? Where do you feel more comfortable?
I would probably get him on the outside coming off the corner. My car seems to work stronger than pretty much every other car down here coming off the corner. So in my particular situation, I would try to get him off the corner.
Now, we've been watching this battle between Brian Sisko in the 12 and the 7-2 of Mike Carpenter. We've got trouble.
Looks like Dave broke something in the middle of the turn there.
Dave Garfinkel in the 21. There appeared to be little, if any, contact, but he slows the action here in car number 21. Tough break for Dave Garfinkel, one of the top time trial drivers.
Dave is a very clean racer here. I can get alongside of Dave any night, any time, and race comfortably within an inch of his wheels and not have to worry about anything happening between us.
Dave Garfinkel surely disappointed after a great time trial run starting at the front of the pack. You know, before the yellows came out, I noticed, of course, we'd been talking about the leaders. This looks like the trouble for Dave Garfinkel.
Yeah, it looks like something definitely broke in his suspension or steering there. He just made a right-hand turn in the middle of the turn there. Looks like he definitely had his brakes because he got it slowed up before he got himself into trouble.
So Dave Garfinkel awaits assistance from the wrecker. I was saying before we went to that replay, J.J. Jensen appears to have found some extra speed. He's up to 3rd spot, and he was right up on Mike Carpenter's bumper to make it a 3-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, JJ's been running strong here toward the last end of the year. He's been very competitive in that car, and hopefully he's saving his tires, and he'll have the advantage if he does save the rubber.
So the track crew trying to make quick work of the problem up in turn number 3. Large crowd enjoying the day. And we have 15 laps remaining now, Vinnie Green, so it should be a single file restart.
Yeah, single file restarts definitely are an advantage, especially when you're leading the race.
We're in just the first of 3 50-lap main events for the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds. As a part of Turkey Derby 21, I'm Jeff Gravatt. The other voice you're hearing is veteran driver Vinnie Green, taking the weekend off from racing to watch Turkey Derby action with us. 15 laps to go, single file restart. Where would you rather be now? In the shoes of Mike Carpenter running second, or in Brian Sisko's 12 in the lead?
Right now, if I was in Mike Carpenter's car, I'd rather be in Mike Carpenter's car, because I think he's got a better race car, and I really think if he plays his cards right, he can get around Brian. But it's not going to be easy. Brian's one tough cookie.
All right, Vinnie Green, give us the lowdown. You're in the 72, you're running second. What do you do? What do you try to do to rattle the leader?
You try to run him into the corner harder than he can really actually go. Get him a little bit crossed up, drive underneath him or drive around him, depending on which way he goes. But that's what I would do at this point.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that both Brian Sisko and Mike Carpenter are not timid drivers. We could really see some fireworks here once we do go back to action.
Yeah, at this point of the race, it all depends on how your tires are with heat as far as how hot they are. Mike Carpenter's car seems to work well when the tires are a little cooler. So he might have the advantage on the 12th car on the start of the race. Once his tires get hot in number 12, it's going to be tough for him to get by.
So you're talking about heating the tires, very important. Today's temperatures, obviously, it's sunny, a beautiful day, probably the low 50s. Are these good conditions to run this race?
They're very good conditions. You make a lot of horsepower when the weather conditions are like this. The air is more dense, and you could probably pick up 30 to 40 horsepower in your motor than on a summer night, say, when it's 80 degrees out and humidity's very high.
Well, they're making horsepower right now. We're back underway. We're going to watch this battle to the finish. The first 50 lapper. It's Brian Sisko in the 12, the 72 of Mike Carpenter, the X2 of J.J. Jensen. By the way, running fourth, 28, Doug Jacoby. Up the fifth is the 33 of Jim Hawks. Vinny, looking at our monitor, do you pick up any characteristics on these cars? Does everybody look like they're running well at present?
Everybody looks like, especially the front 5, 6 cars, they all look like they're handling pretty well. Mike's looking hard to the outside because I think right about now he figured out Brian's not going to give up the inside. Looks like Brian might have the advantage in this straightaway here. It looks like he's pulling a little bit better than Mike is coming off the corner.
Right then, it appeared that Brian opened up the groove, let him have the high side, and he couldn't do much with it.
Yeah, he'll give him the outside a couple of times here, it looks like. He's doing a real good job, Mike, of staying to the outside of Brian. Brian's trying to shut the door on him a little bit, but he's still giving him about a lane and an inch.
They're side by side, and while they battle, right behind them, the pack closes in. What a race we have for the lead. Vinnie Green, we're counting down the laps. It's got to be tough to run in second spot. Not only worry about the leader, but the people behind you.
Yeah, because a lot of times you can make a move to the inside or to the outside, but if you do, you're giving up your position because the next car can fill the hole and you're going to end up going backwards.
Lap after lap, Mike Carpenter tries the outside. Look who moved up to third, Doug Jacoby in the 28. Tell you, it's kind of surprising he hasn't won this year. Week after week, a fast car running up front. Jacoby's looking for his first checker flag.
Yeah, he looks pretty strong today, Jeff. Let's see what happens in the next race, but he's running better than he's running in quite a while here.
So it is still Brian Sisko in the 12 as we count down the laps here in the first of 3 50-lappers for the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds. Just 5 laps to go now, Vinnie Green. 5 to go. What do you do if you're Mike Carpenter?
You have to wait for him to make a mistake, but let me tell you what, I don't think he's gonna at this point. I think Brian Sisko's gonna win this one.
I'll tell you, you have to hand it to Brian Sisko. He pulled to the low lane, gave him racing room, and Mike just couldn't quite make it work.
He definitely gave him an opportunity a couple of times to get by him on the outside.
Counting down the laps here in the first of triple 50s. The way this race is going, I wouldn't mind seeing 150 laps of this. A great battle. Just 2 to go now. And Vinny, it looks like Mike Carpenter trying to duck to the inside. Do you think he can make room there?
Yeah, but I don't think he has it coming off the corner. Oh, he just lost his spot there.
Doug Jacoby was ready to go.
Got him.
The white flag waves. Jacoby takes advantage of the mistake. Down the backstretch to the final time. It looks like Jacoby's going to try him, but it will be Brian Sisko taking leg number 1.
That's what we talked about before when you're in second place and the cars are behind you. You try to make a move and somebody takes your spot.
Tell you, a great race. Once again, like I said, the way they were battling, I could have gone for about 150 laps of that.
Yeah, that looked like a very exciting race. I wish I was there sometimes.
Well, Vinny, just about 20 minutes ago, 28 men had a chance at a $5,000 bonus. Now only one. Brian Sisko, he's won 1. He's got to win 2 more.
Lady Luck has to be on his side. If he pulls the pole in this race, pulls the pole in the next race, wins the $9,000, I'd go to Atlantic City tonight.
There you go.
Let me tell you, your luck's on your side if that happens.
And I understand Wall Stadium has beefed up security because if Brian Sisko wins the first 2, they're going to handcuff Georgia Andretta from Carmen's Pizzeria and Jack Bernakeets from Jam Racing Engines to the starter stand to make sure they're around for the 3rd feature.
Yeah, I can imagine, huh?
Well, Brian Sisko ready to celebrate his win. And, of course, we'll give you the inside story on this win and all the other actions of Turkey Derby 21 on TV 34's Let's Go Racing, our racing magazine show that covers all the highlights and all the inside stories here at Wall Stadium on TV 34 every Thursday and Friday night at 10 p.m. There's your winner, Brian Sisko. Vinnie Green, you've been down there before. What's it feel like when you get out of that car after the big victory?
It's a great place to be, Jeff. And unless you experience it, it's very hard to explain what it's like. But let me tell you, you really have a sense of accomplishment when you're standing down there in victory lane.
So Brian Sisko takes the win. Second place went to the 28, of Doug Jacoby. In third spot, car number 72, Mike Carpenter. So there's your top three as we watch over the Victory Lane celebration. Tell you, a win at Turkey Derby has to be exciting as well. Look at all the photographers from all the newspaper media on hand here today, magazines, newspapers, to photograph the winners in Turkey Derby action. So Vinnie Green, 150-lap main event in the books. 2 more for the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds. And we've got plenty more action to come here on TV 34. And those people are loving the action. You'll love it too. And we'll have more with the Pro Stocks right after this break. Welcome back, everyone, to TV 34. It's exclusive coverage of Turkey Derby 21 from Wall Stadium in Wall Township, New Jersey. I'm Jeff Gravatt, along with modified driver Vinnie Green, calling all the action. Now, Vinnie, you're famous for your modified action in recent years, but you had a lot of success in this division as well.
Yes, 1979 we won the championship. 1978 we finished second in points, and 1977 when we started racing, we finished, I believe, was in 5th place in points here and 2nd place in points at New Egypt. So it's been a very good division for me.
So really an expert in both the modified division and the pro stock division is Vinnie Green. Vinnie, you like these race cars? Are they competitive?
They're very competitive race cars. They are almost as fast as the old modifieds used to be 10, 15 years ago.
So there you have it, a full fendered race car. Real clean racing. It looks like a lot of these drivers in this division get along very well in the pit area. It's like a big party, a big family. I guess that really contributes to clean racing on the speedway.
Yeah, it's a very professional division. All the guys have a very good attitude about the racing and their race cars, and seems like everyone helps each other in the pits whenever a particular driver has a problem with his car.
All right, so we are about ready to go here. The officials getting the cars in their proper starting positions as we get ready to go to battle. There they are working with the drivers. I believe a few drivers have scratched from the event. That means, if you're not into racing lingo, they will not be starting, or they're starting at the rear of the field at their own request. So they are setting the field right now. So it looks like the front row will be car number 6 Junior of Bobby Richards and the 86 of Kenny Schneider. Row number 2, a big story here with backing from Ling Racing. Car number 18, Bob Haberstick, a former champion returning. And on his outside, a real strong contender for Rookie of the Year, Scott Newell. Row number 3, the 00, Frank Van Arsdale, another rookie. On his outside, a longtime racer, Kevin Ayers in car 21. Hot laps right now, once again, heating up the tires, getting the engines warm before we go to competition. Taking a look back, the 17 of Lee Taylor and the 69 of Ray Gastellu, both feature winners this year. Car number 69, built in 1978, the oldest car on the speedway, the only Chrysler on the track, and he is your driving champion for this year. Bobby Richards in the 6 Junior having a little trouble negotiating turn number 2 as he spins. And I believe Jerry Giordano in the 15 had a bit of a problem there as well as he tries to get going. Giordano, your overall pro stock champion a year ago in this race, got $300 from Sunoco Racing Fuels. Had a tough day yesterday, went out early. He is starting way back around 20th spot. He has a long way to come, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a long road to hoe, but I think he'll make it up through the pack. I have confidence in him. These guys are having a little bit of trouble getting their cars hooked up with the cold racetrack and the cold tires, but once they get a few laps into the tires, they'll be much more stable.
Good question there, Vinny. The tires on the modified, we've seen how they perform in these conditions. How about the pro stock tires? Any difference?
It's a skinnier tire and it also has a harder compound than the tires that we use, so it takes a little bit more time for them to build heat.
So it could be very dangerous going in the first couple of laps of this 25-lap main event.
Yeah, it's quite slippery the first few laps. Everybody has to hang on for dear life.
Full-fendered race cars here at Wall Stadium. The Pro Stock division about ready to get underway. By the way, way back in the field, car number 5, Rich Ely, won Friday's main event for the Pro Stocks. 2 main events in Turkey Derby. And Rich Ely has a long way to come to sweep this one. There's the green flag, Vinnie Green. And we're underway.
Yeah, the 6 car got a very good start there. He's about 2 or 3 car lengths ahead of the second place car right now.
East Millstone Township's Bobby Richards, your early leader. We've got trouble already. Looks like Jim Willis in the 62.
Probably Jeff, the cold tires. Just lost the handle on it coming off the corner there.
That incident happening over in turn number 2. It looks like really nobody is the worse for wear. Willis driving away with the 62. He's going to stop back to the pit area as we rack these cars up and get ready to go to action.
Hopefully he can make it back out.
Just about a lap in the books before the yellows wave here. By the way, right now the modified drivers preparing for their second of 350 lappers. They will return to the track after this feature event.
Remember, they can't change tires between events.
And of course that's a big key. No change in tires. You got to run the same tires. How badly do these tires wear? I'm sure not in terms of looking at them or seeing the threads showing through, but how badly do they wear in regards to performance?
As far as wear, they hardly wear at all. What happens is the catalyst, the material in the tire itself, the chemical that makes the tire sticky, after they've been heated and cooled a number of times, the catalyst starts to run out. The tire doesn't have as much grip as it does, and the tire could look brand new, and the car could be very hard to drive when that happens to the tire. They usually last about 35 to 40 laps. After that, the tires are pretty much useless at that point as far as racing them is concerned. But when everybody has to use the same tires, it gives everybody the same disadvantage.
Are they safe to run on when you run them 3 races like that?
Toward the end of the last race, I think you're going to have your hands full. First race is okay. The second race is a little iffy. The third race gets to be very interesting.
Well, right now the Pro Stocks getting their lineup adjusted so we can go back to action. Just about a lap in the books before Jim Willis had some trouble over in turn number 2. And it looks like Jim Willis has returned with the Matco Transportation 62. But he's got a long way to come now. He was, well, he started pretty far back anyway, so.
He sure did.
Not really a disadvantage for him to stop in the pit area and at least have the car checked over.
They all do. I know that. You do that.
Well, we just heard from the starter stand, starter Mike Sancelli, his assistant Donnie Erickson, chatting about the restart lineup and getting these cars into their proper locations.
Let's see if the 6 gets the jump on the restart like he did last time, Jeff.
Well, you can bet the drivers behind him and around him learned a little something there. They won't be caught asleep at the switch this time, no. You can be sure.
Looks like he did. Oh, something happened.
And the 6th junior, Bobby Richards, goes from first to worst. He's on the infield, and it looks like he's possibly done for this event.
Yeah, either missed a gear or he broke something in his transmission, but he definitely lost power right when he got by the flagger stand there.
Well, Richards goes to the back of the pack. He tries to continue, but we do have a new leader. Rookie driver Ken Schneider. There's Bob Haverstick in the 18. He had some trouble off the track back on, but he lost a lot of spots.
We have another rookie right behind him, Scott Newell, in the number 7 car.
I'll tell you, a real strong crop of rookies in 1994 here. And Ken Schneider in the 86, the 7 of Scott Newell, just 2 of the drivers up for the Rookie of the Year award.
Scott's looking to the outside here.
I'll tell you, this race
looks like he might do it.
Really shaping up to be a good one. 2 veterans right behind him, this 21 Kevin Ayers and the old master Ray Gastellu in the 69.
Ray Gastellu just helped Scott by the lead car. He bumped him in the back there and actually put him in front of the lead car when he did that.
Well, a pass for the lead, and then the yellow flags wave for trouble on the racetrack.
That's the worst thing when that happens, and you take the lead and the yellow comes out.
And we do see a little debris on the racetrack. We did notice one car kind of limping along, but the debris will have to be removed by the track crew. Kind of the hidden heroes of the sport. Track crew working real hard at the speedway, cleaning up accidents, assisting drivers, and doing their job here today at Turkey Derby 21.
It's a tough place to be in the middle of that racetrack. I know I've slid through that infield about 90 miles an hour, and believe me, you have to have eyes all over. Watching cars come at you from all sides because you can't hear them. There's so much noise down there. You really don't know where they're going to be coming from.
Vinny, I've been around the racetrack a long time, and to me the cars look fast from every angle, but you want an idea how fast you're going, stand in the middle of that infield.
I've watched a few races from the infield, and I said to myself, you have to be crazy to be driving one of those cars. But let me tell you, you have no idea how fast these cars are until you get the line of sight from on the infield. These cars are really going fast, let me tell you.
Well, the 62 of Jim Willis going to return again. He took another stop in the pit area, and he will return to the racetrack. Early going of the Pro Stock 25-lap main event, Turkey Derby 21 here at Wall Stadium.
Let's see how Scott does on this restart here.
Scott Newell, car number 7 on the pole. The Allied Fire and Safety entry up against the 86 of Ken Schneider. There's the green. Scott Newell gets the jump by a mile.
Yeah, he's got him by a ton. He looks good going into turn 1 so far. Jeff, let's see if he can hang on. He's got a pretty comfortable lead right now.
Scott Newell really stretching it down the backstretch. Ray Gastello in the 69 runs second. Third, the 29 Ralph Durienzo. He's a former Rookie of the Year.
Scott's going to have his hands full in a few minutes here. Ray's got a lot of experience on this racetrack. He's got a real strong race car here. Let's see if Scott can fend him off for the rest of this race.
Now, Vinny, I know it was a long time ago. You raced in this Pro Stock division when it was the modern stocks. What year did you say that you finished up?
I started in 77 in this division, and I won a championship in 79, and I was asked to move up to another division for the coming year of 1980.
Well, we've got trouble here on this racetrack. I was just going to say, you raced against the 69 of Ray Gastello. That car built back in 78.
Yeah, and it was fast back then, too, when we had the 6 cylinders in them. He used to run a Slant 6 Chrysler back then, and it definitely was a pretty fast race car for its day.
Car 29, Ralph Durienzo, one of the drivers, having trouble. Apparently, he received the black flag, the consultation flag, not necessarily a disqualification. Could be an indication of a problem with the race car. He has received the black flag, and looks like he's going to come around to consult with the officials to see what the problem is.
The big problem with the black flag is, as a driver, it's never for you. It's always for the other guy.
I'll tell you, it's got to be tough to just see those flags, Vinny. You're rocketed by that starter stand at 100 miles an hour. Do you get to see those flags?
You kind of have to put one eye up on a flagger stand and one eye on the cars in front of you. It is tough to see them sometimes, especially at night.
Jumping to start, he said he was trying to get his spot back. He belonged in front of the 17. Okay, then you're out.
All right, we go back to replay. We're following car number 29, Ralph Durienzo. You just saw that he was chatting with the officials at the start-finish line. There's Durienzo's number 29, the Allied Diesel entry, moves to the low groove. And that's when all the action started. That's Kenny Schneider in the 86. He was running well. He had some problems in that exchange. Well, apparently Ralph Durienzo in car number 29, perhaps with a difference of opinion with starter Mike Sancelli. And we'll see exactly where or where not the Allied Diesel number 29 of Ralph Durienzo will go. J.R. Hellberg, last year's driving champion, 1993 champion, on the racetrack as well to chat with the officials, probably looking for his proper restart position.
Yeah, it's tough to be. Sometimes you really don't know where you're at, especially if you're in the middle to the rear of the field. You kind of get confused on where you really are supposed to be.
Well, it must be tough to know exactly when that yellow light winked on, when the yellow flag waved, and it's got to be a heartbreak sometimes when you do get a spot, at least in your eyes, but lose it to the yellow flag.
Yeah, it really is tough when you do make a position and you have to give it back up again because the yellow came out. That's why radios have been such a big help, especially in our division, because we have spotters in the stands now that kind of tell us what's going on. Especially like in my case, I start in the rear of the field just about every night. I have no idea where I'm at for the first 10 or 15 laps usually.
Oh, psych you up good with fire when you get there, okay? Let's go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Starter Mike Sancelli checking in with pole sitter Scott Newell, car number 7. Your leader here in the early going of the Pro Stock main event. Pro Stock main event number 2 of Turkey Derby. 21, the 34, Frank Marino, just got an assistant to the pit area.
It's a tough place to be where Scott Newell is right now, leading the race like this, especially in the Turkey Derby being a rookie.
Is there any extra pressure now for the Pro Stocks? These races are the regular distance of 25 laps. Extra pressure as a driver in a race like Turkey Derby?
Yeah, I think there is, just because of all the hype that comes beforehand, and it just seems like it's the biggest race of the year, obviously, and it's definitely tough to be a rookie and be up front, especially when you have a veteran like Ray next to you on the outside. He definitely has his hands full right now. I wouldn't want to be where he is.
So, Vinnie Green, it looks like we're racking them up, trying to get back to action. I believe starter Mike Sancelli giving the signal that it'll be just one more lap. Just one more lap before we go back to action here in the Pro Stock 25 lapper of Turkey Derby 21. There's a young man on the pole, Scott Newell, rookie driver. He just ran in a handful of races in 1993 to be eligible for Rookie of the Year honors in 1994. It's a rookie against a veteran as we go back to action.
He did a good job on that restart.
I'll tell you, some hot shoes right behind him. We've got trouble. There goes one, John Ruggiero. He won on several occasions this year, but he's on the infield coming from the back of the pack. There's your leader, Scott Newell, in the 7. And it looks like the yellow flags are waving for that problem with John Ruggiero over in turn 2. Now we see Ralph D'Arienzo stopped up on the racetrack in turn 4. So we go right back to caution. So we'll take another look at the restart. And at Vinny, it looks like Scott Newell had the foot on the pedal.
Yeah, he definitely did a good job on that restart. He's probably pretty disappointed at this point right now, because now Ray Castello kind of figured out where he's going to start the race and how he's going to start the race the next time around. What he has to do now is change his strategy on when he starts the race and how.
John Ruggiero, another driver, disappointed there. He was up in the top 5, and he spins around over in turn 2. And Ralph D'Arienzo being assisted up in turn 4 here at Turkey Derby 21. Well, it looks like they're going to have to tow out the 29 of Ralph D'Arienzo. So we're going to take a break, but we'll be back with more Pro Stock action from Turkey Derby 21 right after this.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. It's interesting.
Welcome back to Wall Stadium for more of Turkey Derby 21 professional auto racing action. I'm Jeff Gravatt, joined by modified driver Vinnie Green, watching all the action of the modifieds, Pro Stocks and Street Stocks The yellow flag remains displayed. These are the Pro Stocks with 18 laps remaining. Everybody getting a little anxious after that break.
Yeah, it looks like they got a little confused on who was going to start the race and when and why and where. Hopefully they get them lined back up again the next time around. We can get the race underway here.
Just 7 laps in the record books. 18 remaining in the Pro Stock feature race. Tell you, Vin, it looks like the Pro Stock field's growing year after year.
Yeah, toward the beginning of the season and last year there weren't many cars down here, but it seems like every year, like you said, it's getting bigger and bigger, which is good.
We go back to green, and look who's on the move.
Ray Gastello had the advantage that time on our restart.
And that old Chrysler, the only Chrysler in the field, is your leader as they work down the front stretch. We've got trouble up in turns 3 and 4. A lot of cars together. Rookie driver Frank Van Arsdale in the 00, the 5. Friday's winner Rich Ely, the 4. John Thurkelson among the drivers stacked up in turn number 4. Thurkelson out of the car saying, what happened? And the yellow flag comes right back out with 7 laps in the books.
Yeah, it sure is disappointing when that happens and you have nowhere to go and you end up running into the car that's sideways in front of you, and it's very disappointing, let me tell you.
Tell you, it looks like a lot of work on a few of these cars involved in this tangle, and a lot of work for the wrecker crews up there in turn number 4.
Yeah, at least didn't look like anybody hit real hard, so hopefully there isn't a lot of damage done to anybody's car.
Still 7 laps in the books, 18 remaining.
Nobody wants to stay in their position. Nobody wants to stay in their position.
Right now, the wrecker crew is apparently trying to figure out exactly how to remove these cars, untangle them, without causing any more damage. There's Rich Ely. He's out of his car, but the smile he was wearing after Friday's win in the Pro Stock division has been replaced by a frown, to be sure, here in the Pro Stock feature of Saturday at Turkey Derby 21.
It's one thing about auto racing, Jeff. The highs are high and the lows are low.
Well, it looks like it's going to take a while for the wreckers to remove these cars from the racetrack. We'll use the opportunity for a break and be back with more Turkey Derby 21 action in just a moment. Welcome back as we go back to green in Pro Stock action at Turkey Derby 21. Right back to action, and Ray Gastello is your leader. Kevin Ayers up to second spot with 17 laps to go. Lots of wild action on the backstretch, Vinnie Green.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of cars didn't want to get going there, and the guys ran into the back of them.
Your current leader, Ray Gastello, car number 69.
Looks like Ray pretty much has him covered at this point. Let's see if Kevin Ayers can close the gap and run him down.
2 veteran drivers. Ray Gastello has spent most of his time in the Pro Stocks, but we have trouble, and that's going to slow him right down again. The 15 of Jerry Giordano. As you said, in auto racing, the highs are super high, the lows are very low. 1 year ago, Giordano could do nothing wrong as he took the overall Pro Stock title in Turkey Derby. This year, nothing going right. Is there such a thing as racing luck?
I definitely believe in racing luck, but a lot of the luck you bring upon yourself by preparation and being prepared for whatever situation happens on the racetrack. But a lot of times things happen and just you have no control over them whatsoever.
I'll tell you, there looked to be a contact there between the 62 of Jim Willis and the spinning number 15 of Jerry Giordano as they slow the action right back down.
He sure made a lot of smoke in that spin.
Right now in this race, it looks like the safest place to be is at the front.
Generally, that's the pretty safest place to be in any race, up in the front, because anywhere in the middle of the pack is usually where all the action is at.
In Friday's 25 lapper, Ray Gastellu crossed the finish line in 7th spot. So he could be in position to be the overall champion. There's the 4 of John Thurkelson back on the speedway. Looking a bit more like a modified now.
Yeah, he's missing a few parts here and there, Jeff. Pretty soon he'll be about 100 pounds underweight.
He doesn't want to cross the line first and then fail at the scales. We go back to action. Your leader down the back is the 69 of Ray Gastellu. 21 Kevin Ayers right on his bumper. And Vinny, these are a couple of veteran drivers up front.
Yeah, Kevin Ayers used to race modifieds, and he definitely knows what he's doing on a racetrack. Let's see how he works the 69 car over.
Jerry Giordano, trouble again with the 15, and that'll slow the action right down. Vinny, it looks like the right front tire may have gone down on the 15.
Definitely. Boy, you said it. When things are wrong, they definitely are wrong. He can't seem to get anything right today.
And there he makes contact with the 99 of John Ruggiero. I'm not sure if that was an accident by haste or perhaps giving a reminder to the other driver. That right front tire is about shot.
Yeah, I'd have to say that tire's just about finished.
For the past 2 years, that 15 of Jerry Giordano has been the runner-up in the overall season-long point standings for the Pro Stock division. Here is your 1994 Pro Stock driving champ in the Hink Turkey Farm Rocco's Place Pizza number 69, Ray Gastellu. He is your current leader, as we have about 15 laps remaining. Yellow fever in this one.
Ray's going to have his hands full because he's got some really tough competition behind him at this point. He's going to really have to concentrate on driving his race car and not worry about the guys behind him too much.
Running in third at the moment appears to be the 37 of Joe Scarborough, a sharp-looking race car, brand new car for another rookie in this field. Lee Taylor in the 17 racks him up fourth. Mike Sanchelli's going to look him over. And I think Ray Gastellu is going to take that same option as J.J. Jensen did earlier in the day and just go slow and yet let that yellow flag stay out one more lap.
That's right, Jeff. He's the guy that starts the race, not the guy on the outside. Sometimes you can be suckered into starting the race if the guy on the outside jumps. It's just going to cost you that position.
Well, we rack them up again. Ideally, they'll stay in neat and tidy rows of 2 until the green flag drops. 69 Ray Gastellu ready to move back out as we go green.
Clean restart that time, Jeff.
Ray Gastellu, your leader in the 69-21. Kevin Ayers trying to track him down. What do you think, Vinny? Does he have a shot?
Looks like Kevin Ayers' car is working just a little bit better in the corners. Ray seems to have the power in the straightaways. If Kevin plays his cards right, he might be able to stick his nose underneath Ray.
Behind them, the 17 of Lee Taylor. Rockets in the third spot. We could have a three-way battle for the lead before this is over. That gives you an idea of the distance between the top 2 and the third place driver. Trouble right over there in turn number 2. A couple of cars getting together. Looks like the 99 John Ruggiero, the 55 Robert Williams, and then Scott Newell in the 7, hooked up with the 4 of John Thurkelson. Although Newell able to drive away. Still a tough break. Scott was leading this race at the outset.
Sure is.
As you said, some days everything goes wrong.
Everything goes wrong.
Let's take another look, Vinny. There's the 55.
He got a little help from behind that time, Jeff.
Going around and got a little nudge, a little bit of coaxing out there, and around he went.
And got caught up in his own accident there.
Yep, and 99 John Ruggiero having no place to go, so caught with his hands red or red-handed here, huh?
Yeah, he better sit on his hands, right? Got it caught with his, like say, hands in a cookie jar.
Yep. So 2 cars on the speedway, seeking relief here and seeking a chance to get off the speedway. All the fans in the stands will be watching TV 34's Let's Go Racing. We'll have complete Turkey Derby coverage, the inside story up in the pit area on the racetrack. Of course, highlights of yesterday's Friday's Pro Stock main event, and Street Stock main event. Much, much more each and every week. TV 34s, Let's Go Racing Thursdays and Fridays at 10 p.m. Vinnie Green, we've had you on Let's Go Racing a lot of times.
Yeah, I've been on a few times. Let me tell you, it's been an experience, you know. And when you see yourself on TV, you say, Jesus, do I really look like that?
So Vinnie Green enjoying the action right here with everyone from TV 34 and all the fans in the stands here at Turkey Derby 21. Record crew's busy now, hooking up the 55 of Robert Williams. Real nice camera angle from out in the woods off of turn number 1. During Friday action here at Turkey Derby, 2 street stock cars went over the guardrail in turn number 1. Not really close to the camera location, but not many cars have gone over the guardrail here at Wall Stadium. So what a shot it would have been yesterday.
It's pretty tough to do, is to get over that rail. Let me tell you, you don't want to go there if you don't have to.
I remember a few modified cars in years past. Driver Nick Piscatelli did it up in turn number 4, and right up in this area in turn number 1, it was Sandy Riddle, car number 13, one Saturday evening, went up, took out the top rail, and right on out into the woods. He was A-OK, by the way.
Yeah, you can see right there, Jeff, where they replaced the 2 boards that were broken out yesterday in that mishap.
2 street stock cars, both of them going over the rail. Wild action, and I bet you're going to see highlights of all that action on Let's Go Racing, the show we were just talking about a few moments before. There you have it, the crews, the fans, watching the action. Now there's that radio communication I believe you talked about earlier. What can you communicate with the pit crew about on the radios?
Basically, a lot of times with my pit crew, I'm asking them who's doing what, whose car's working better on the inside, the outside. If there's space to move up, space to move down. Sometimes you can't see that well out of a race car, so you need pit crew communication to give you a hand there.
And I'm sure it also helps when you're second place driver and you're trying to track down the leader, like Kevin Ayers is trying to track down Ray Gastellu right now.
Hey, Ray got a good jump on that restart, Jeff. It looks like he's pretty much in control right now.
I'll tell you, year after year, Ray Gastellu talks about, I think I'm going to build a new car for next season. And every year, people wonder, why are you going to bother? The car runs great. You won titles. Feature events, leave well enough alone.
You know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Looks like he's doing a pretty good job with that old car right now.
It's still the 69. The lone Chrysler in the field. All the Chrysler fans, a lot to cheer about here today. Ray Gastellu, your leader. And the brand new number 21, Kevin Ayers, runs second.
Yeah, Kevin Ayers just closed the gap on it. Looks like he's a little stronger right now, but I don't think he has enough to get around him.
It has become a 2-car battle for the lead at the present time. Ray Gastellu in the 69, the 21 of Kevin Ayers. Duke it out for the lead. Ayers looks low, can't do anything with him that time by.
I bet you Ayers is bending the gas pedal in that car right now. A couple of times he looked underneath him, had room to go, and he just didn't have enough motor to do it. Let me tell you, I'd have a cramp in my foot right now for stepping on the gas pedal.
Well, the battle continues on, and Vinnie Green, if you had to guess right now, what's Kevin Ayers going to try to do to get by that leader?
The only thing I can think he's going to do right now is he's going to try to get underneath him, hope that the 69 car gets a little loose coming off the corner and he can be able to slip underneath him.
Well, Scott Newell, speaking of having troubles, he's had his share today. He led early, but he got off the racetrack, and that brought out the caution flag. Car number 7, the Allied Fire and Safety entry. Scott Newell having his share of troubles after leading the event early.
Scott's going to be very competitive in this division probably next year. Seems like he's getting more and more racing experience under his belt, more seat time, and this is one sport you just don't step into and automatically become accustomed to driving a race car. There's a lot you have to learn.
Well, I'll tell you, he's done a great job this year in car number 7. As I said, a strong candidate for Rookie of the Year honors. That'll be presented at the annual awards dinner. But Scott Newell in the 7 has been at the front of the pack a lot of times this season, learning quickly in this game of auto racing.
It's just a matter of time till he gets a feature win.
Vinnie Green, just 5 laps remaining now. Ray Gastellu, can he hang on with that 69? What do you think?
The pressure's on, Jeff, but I think he can hang on. He's been there before, he's done this before, and I think he'll end up winning this race unless something mechanically happens to his car.
mentioned the pressure on. Is the pressure really on as a driver? Do you feel it when you're in the position of Ray Gastelli?
You certainly do. This is probably the worst thing you can do, is ride around in the lead at 10 miles an hour.
Do you start hearing noises perhaps in the car?
You start hearing noises, feeling vibrations. You're checking your clutch pedal, you're checking your brake pedal. You look at your oil pressure, your water temperature. You kind of almost psych yourself out sometimes. You're best just to pay attention to nothing and just race.
Well, that's exactly what these drivers hope to do. With just 5 laps remaining, it looks like the track is about race ready. Mike Sancelli, the starter, Donnie Erickson, his assistant, will be getting ready to give them the signal with 5 laps remaining. There's the green, Vinnie Green, and we go back to action.
Yeah, it looks like Ray Gastelli did a good job on that restart. He's got about a car length between him and the 21 car, Kevin.
Few cars coming together over in turn 2, but it looks like it'll be no consequence as they are safely off and then back onto the racetrack. It's still the 69 of Ray Gastelli leading them down the back.
Yeah, it looks like he's putting a little distance on the 21 car right now.
Ray Gastelli with an opportunity to perhaps be the overall Turkey Derby champion. With a win here, he finished 7th in the first one. Just 2 laps remaining now, 2 to go. Gastelli in the 69 is the leader. Second in the 21, Kevin Ayers. Third in the 17, Lee Taylor. Fourth is J.R. Hellberg.
Ray's running into some lap cars right now. Sometimes they can really be a disadvantage when you're leading a race.
Well, Gastelli has managed his way around him. The white flag's waving. He's going to be looking for the checker flag this time by. In for the win, the 1994 driving champion, Ray Gastelli. Looks like Kevin Ayers in the 21 second. Third spot, car number 17, Lee Taylor. And I believe J.R. Hellberg in the 72 was 4th. Rich Yurley came on. He may have been 5th at car number 5. If so, he may win the overall title. We'll wait for the official word. And we understand that is win number 4 in Turkey Derby action for Ray Gastelli. Once again, Vinny, as I said before, Ray is always threatening to build a new car, get rid of this. It was built in 1978. He wins the title, won twice during the year, and wins this main event in Turkey Derby. Would you get a new car?
I would definitely keep the old one in case the new one didn't work out just right. Let me tell you, I would not sell this car until I proved that the new car could do the same job.
And there's the car right there. The Turkey Derby main event number 2 winner of Ray Gastelli.
You can see the car is working pretty good in that slow motion shot, Jeff. He just had to correct it a little bit coming off of turn 4. The car really works well.
Well, Bob Holmes of Wall Stadium fame and Garrison Auto Supply presenting the trophy to your winner, Ray Gastelli. And there's a happy driver. His wife Debbie down in victory lane with him. And once again, Vinny, that thrill of victory.
Yeah, there's nothing like it, Jeff. Let me tell you, Ray's pretty happy at this point. I know I would be.
Well, it looks like Ray Gastelli must have a bunch of those Garrison Auto Supply trophies on his mantle at home. His 4th Turkey Derby win, a well-deserved win here for Ray Gastelli. Being presented the hardware now for the victory lane photo.
3 hot laps. 3 hot laps. And we're lining right up.
So Ray Gastelli takes the win in the Pro Stock main event. And here come the modifieds for main event number 2. We'll have all that action right after this. Welcome back to Wall Stadium. For more action from Turkey Derby 21, I'm Jeff Gravatt, along with modified driver Vinnie Green, checking out the competition as we get ready to go in main event number 2. for the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds. Hot laps right now, heating up the tires, getting ready for 50 laps of racing action. Caution flag laps do not count, so it is 50 laps, pedal to the metal for the modified cars. Fans are getting ready for the second of 3 main events here in Turkey Derby 21. Every Saturday night at Wall Stadium, April through the middle of October, the stock cars roar. But at Thanksgiving time, they return for daytime action on Friday and Saturday. And we are ready for modified action in the second main event. Very quickly, a look at the lineup. Row number 1, we're expecting to see the 0 of Jim Bruno and the 33 of Jim Hawks. On row 2, the X2 of J.J. Jensen and the 3 of Sam Russo. Row 3, the 4Q of Steve Rogers and the 28 Doug Jacoby. He was second in that first main event. Row number 4, the 88 Alan Kravling and the 14 of Harry Reid. Your first race winner, Brian Sisko, in the 12 and the 19 of Jeff Loesch. Round out the top 10 of 28. Vinnie Green, there is the green flag. We're underway.
We're off. It looks like Jimmy Hawks might be able to pull it off here. Let's see what happens, Jeff.
It's a side-side battle into turn number 3. The rookie, Jim Bruno, in the 0. The veteran in the 33, Jim Hawks.
He's hanging in there on the outside. As soon as he builds some heat up in those tires, I believe he's going to be able to do it.
Boy, I'm hoping nobody on that front row makes a mistake. There's a stampede of modified cars right behind the leaders.
Looks like Jim Hawks is starting to work a little bit better on the outside, Jeff. Once he gets in front of him, he'll be able to pretty much control the race.
Vinnie Green, Jim Hawks, Lex Turkey Derby action. He purchased this car from former champ Eddie Bone. Last year came out, won a feature, and was second overall in Turkey Derby action. Here's your leader, the Jackson resident in the 33, Jim Hawks.
Looks like Sam Russo just moved up into second place, Jeff. He's working pretty well here on the outside.
Sam Russo up to second. Very impressive, however, is car 28 of Doug Jacoby, but we're going to slow him down. The driver is stopped in turn number 1. Looks like Rich Robinson is the driver, stopped up in turn number 1 to slow the action. And there's an inside look. Car 29, Rich Robinson, as he contemplates his fate here in the early going of the second modified 50-lapper.
You can see he's talking on his radio now to his crew. I guess he's explaining to him what's happening out there.
Rich Robinson, car number 29. He is from Shrewsbury, a former pro stock driver, racing on occasion with the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds for the past 2 seasons. Hard-working track crew up there checking out the scene. I believe the wreckers have been called for. Just a handful of laps in the books here in the second 50-lapper. So the wrecker crews look over the scene as they attempt to move the 29 of Rich Robinson off the speedway. In the early going of the second 50-lapper of the weekend here at Turkey Derby 21. By the way, just to run down the top 10 in that first 50-lapper a little bit earlier on. Of course, Brian Sisko, car number 12, the winner of that first 50-lapper. And at present, he's in the top 10 here in the early going of the second 50-lap feature. Doug Jacoby's car 28 was second. He's running well here up in the top 3. Third, Mike Carpenter, 72. Fourth was J.J. Jensen in the X2. And fifth was your current leader, Jim Hawks, in the 33. Sixth was Bobby Walton in the 66. Seventh went to the 19 of Jeff Loesch. Eighth, Kenny Woolley in the 40. Ninth, Richie Englehart in the 94. And Steve Rogers started dead last and finished 10th in that first feature. Vinnie Green, we're under caution here. As a driver, if you were the leader, Jim Hawks, right now, do you appreciate this caution early in the race? Does it give you a break?
No, you really don't want to see any cautions, period. As far as I'm concerned, I'd rather just race right on through to 50 laps or 100 laps, whatever it may be. Because sometimes, especially now when the tires have some time on them, the car will work good when the green's out, the caution comes out, and you could lose the tires on the next restart.
Tires will change that quickly.
The tires definitely will change, especially when they start to have some time on them. It depends on how your chassis is working at that particular time. But I've noticed that especially on my car, one caution to the next, the car would be super fast. One particular section of the race, caution would come out, the tires would cool down, and they would never come back around again. So actually, the cautions aren't that good, especially at this point in time when they already have 50 laps on them.
How are the tires, would you expect at this point of the race? 50 laps, 52, 53 on them, one brake, one cool down, one heating back up. How do you think they are right now?
Probably not very fast right now, especially for the guys that were up front that were really running the cars hard. They punished their tires more than the guys that were in the middle of the pack. I know a lot of times when I'm racing out here, I don't put the accelerator all the way to the floor simply because the cars in front of you don't allow that. So that actually saves your tires. But when you're up front, you pretty much you have to keep it down pretty hard and try to outrun the guy that's in second place. So that puts more punishment on your rear tires especially.
Early going of the second 50-lapper for the Budweiser Racing Series monopods. There's J.J. Jensen, a top 5 finisher in our first 20-lapper. He's a former champ in this division. What a point race he and Mike Carpenter had this year. Final night of the season, it came down. They were tied in the chase for the title, and Carpenter wins the title by just one finishing position. They were second and third on the speedway in the final main event. Had to be one of the closest ones. Vinnie Green, you've been in point races, a former pro stock champion. Does the point race really wear on you, and how can it affect the way you drive?
It really does. I try not to think about it too much because you go to bed thinking about it and you wake up thinking about it. During work you think about it. At dinner you think about it. You just can't get it off your mind. So by the time the end of the season comes, especially when you're in the top 5 cars, let me tell you, it pretty much takes its toll. And to lose the points battle by 1 car length, that's got to hurt.
I'll tell you, you know the drivers have to look back, especially J.J. Jensen, any number of events during the year. If it would have been just a little bit different, it could have made all the difference.
If is a very big word, especially in racing. Let me tell you, Jeff, just that flat tire, and if I could have just moved here, and if I would have just stepped on a brake there, you know, you would constantly go over the races that you've been in your mind and say, well, I could have done this and I could have done that. But it's a very tough thing to do, is race for points.
So the action continues. They're racing for points here too. Whatever driver has the best overall finishing average will be the Turkey Derby champion after 3 main events are done. By the way, don't forget car number 12. He's back at the rear of the top 10. He has a chance to pocket $5 grand if he can sweep all 3. He has won the first event.
That sure would be nice to see somebody make that kind of money.
Brian Sisko in the 12. 9th spot right now. You think he can get up there, Vinny?
It's going to be tight. Okay, you got some real stiff competition up ahead of him right now.
We go back to action. Jim Hawks, still your leader in car 33.
Good lead on a number 3 car right now, Jeff. It looks like Sam might be working a little bit better in the middle of the corners. Let's see what happens here.
So it is Jim Hawks in the 002 Auto Parts. 33 your leader. Sam Russo a bit loose. Doug Jacoby applies the pressure.
And Doug Jacoby seems to be running exceptionally well today. He's got Sam looking in the mirror at this point, let me tell you.
Once again, Doug Jacoby has run well all season long, really. It's kind of amazing he hasn't been in victory lane. He may do it today here at Turkey Derby.
It sure is. I've been behind him. Let me tell you, he's one tough customer to get around.
Well, he's applying the pressure right now, using the chrome horn, if you will, on the 3 of Sam Russo.
Kind of loosened him up a little bit off the corner there, Jeff, but Sam held it on.
Harry Reid taking a spin off of turn 2, but he appears to be well off the racing surface. Action continues on. Some wild moments here in the second 50-lapper. Jim Hawk, still your leader in the 33, the 14 of Harry Reid, a top 5 car a moment ago, now finds himself going a lap down.
Jim Hawks is really getting the bike coming off the corner at this point, Jeff. He's going to be really hard to beat in this race.
And I'll tell you, it looks like it's working to his advantage now. Sam Russo in the 3 has to worry more about the 28 of Doug Jacoby than catching Jim Hawks.
That's right. Doug Jacoby has to also worry about pushing Sam around too hard on the racetrack, because the more he does that, the more he's going to punish his back tires.
J.J. Jensen up to 4th spot. Steve Rogers in the 4Q rides 5th at the moment, but it's still the white 33 of Jim Hawks out front. And we may have a car spinning up in turn number 1. And we have a bunch piled up in turn 1. Several cars getting together. There's young John Blewett III. We haven't heard much from him today, and unfortunately, he's involved in that crash, drives away from the scene at the wheel of the Lou Vasquez number 9.
Yeah, that's tough. He's going to have to start in the back of the pack now. Whenever you come to a stop on this racetrack, you should go to the rear of the field. A lot of times I don't do that.
Not if you can get away.
Not if you can get away with it.
Can't blame the driver for trying. It looks like a driver here that may not get the opportunity to start at the rear of the field. Tim Steffen in the Surfside Collision 52. Sits on the racetrack, awaiting assistance. Fortunately, it looks like quite a few of the cars have been able to drive away. Talk about bad luck. We go back to it. DJ Donofrio involved in the accident up there. There's Tim Steffen, Point Pleasant Beach veteran race driver. Bobby Walton in the Cinetec, number 66, has visited the pit area and now returns to the track. And while the wrecker crews clean up in turn number 1, we'll use this opportunity to take a break and be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Wall Stadium. Turkey Derby action continues. We're back underway. Several cars up out of the groove, and it looks like we have a new leader.
Boy, Mike Carpenter just missed that one.
A lot of action all over the speedway. Car number 3, Sam Russo, is your leader. Jim Hawks now finds himself in 2nd spot. Doug Jacoby runs 3rd. Mike Carpenter up to the 5th spot, I believe, in car 72. Hovering around the front all the way, Vinny.
Yeah, he's been pushing pretty hard. Looks like he's got his hands full right now. There's some tough competition in front of him, but you can't count him out.
Lots of action all over the place. There's Harry Reid in car number 14 trying to find his way through. Your leader is still the 3 of Sam Russo.
You can start to see the tires starting to take their toll now. These guys are starting to get real loose.
And there was 3 wide action with Mike Carpenter on the outside.
That's one place you don't want to be, on the outside, especially number 3.
And as the tires get looser, it gets wilder.
You see them start to wiggle coming off of the turns now. You can tell the tires are starting to head south, and they still have 50 more to go in another one.
Yellows are out. Jeff Loesch in the Pete Nellis bar, Carmen Pizzeria, number 19, having trouble negotiating a turn. You think that might have been due to tire wear?
I think so. The handle is starting to come loose on these cars. They're getting tougher and tougher to drive.
It's got to be wild once they get into the third main event of the day.
Yeah, you're really going to have to hang on to these cars, because even though they don't make 600 horsepower, they're making almost 400. I can tell you, it becomes a handful, especially when you're only running a 10-inch tire when it's starting to get hard on you.
Jeff Loesch is headed back to the pits in car number 19. We'll take another look. And it almost looked like that rear end of that car went right out from underneath.
Looks like he just lost the handle on it, Jeff. Looks like he hit the gas pedal there to come off the corner where he normally hits it, and the back tires didn't take hold.
Well, we've had trouble here as we attempted to get him restarted, and I believe that's the X2 of J.J. Jensen right down in front of us, sitting the wrong way on the front stretch. Now, I'm not sure if he made contact with the guardrail or if he was able to keep it off. It looks like the glove's coming off, however, so Jensen not happy and maybe not in real good shape. Jensen running at the front most of the way.
Yeah, when you take the gloves off, it's not a very good sign. He's awful close to that fence, Jeff. He might have touched it a little bit.
And now looking at it, that left front tire does not look too healthy on the top.
No, for sure. It's got some skid mark on it.
So we're right back under caution with J.J. Jensen facing the wrong way on a busy one-way street.
Remember, Jeff, each time these tires heat up and cool down, they get worse.
A lot of effect on the tires. And there's Santa Claus Nat Reynolds, one of the officials here at the Speedway, keeping an eye on all the action. And the pit area, a very busy place today. A few drivers ducking in. Looks like Bobby Walton, for one, with the Cinetech 66, getting a little service before he returns to action. Jensen's A-okay, he's out of the car. But when the gloves come off, the helmet comes off, it is not a good sign.
No, it's not, Jeff. I've been there, I know.
The agony of defeat. Early stages of the modified main event. Number 2 of Turkey Derby weekend.
You know, Jeff, it seems like when you win a race, you can't explain it enough times the next day, and especially the first day back to work. When something like that happens to you, that just happened to JJ, you're pretty much tired of explaining it, usually about Sunday morning around 9 o'clock.
Sam Russo, your leader in the 3. Jim Hawks in the 33, right on his bumper. Here comes Bobby Walton back into the Car Wars.
That's a beautiful race car, Jeff. They really did a nice job on that paint and color scheme.
Now car number 66, a former Barney Truex, number 59. He's following Dennis O'Rourke in the 002 Auto Parts 35, back from the pit area. Both drivers getting service.
Laps down, so we got to go double file. All right, but if that thing's flashing, that means we're not going. He wants to take off, fine. I won't start the race. Okay? On that one, because he took off, but it's late in his, so they're all yelling at me. All right?
Starter Mike Stancelli lets us know that 20 laps are in the books and 30 remain. J.J. Jensen making the long walk back to the pit area, meets up with crew chief Mike Matthews, his dad, J.J. Sr. J.J. turned around there. He didn't look too upset. Perhaps he'll be able to fix the car.
Maybe he'll be okay for the next 50, Jeff. We'll have to wait and see what happens. The car didn't look like it was damaged that very much, unless something broke on it.
Field stopped on the front stretch right now to allow the wrecker crews time to remove the X2 from the front stretch. Once again, a strong field, well over 40 cars on hand today attempting to qualify for the triple 50s. The final event on the 1994 Wall Stadium agenda, unless you look at the awards banquet on January 7th. That's where the driving champions and top drivers will be honored before everybody gets ready to gear up and go race it again in April of 1995.
It'll be here before you know it, Jeff.
Every year it comes quicker and quicker, Vinny.
Seems to. It's a long season.
Well, it looks like they have the double hook out for the X2 of J.J. Jensen, and it looks like it will be a little longer before we go to action. So we'll have a chance to tell you once again, you want the inside story of what happened here this weekend. You want to find out what happened to J.J. Jensen. Watch TV 34's Let's Go Racing every Thursday and Friday night at 10 p.m. Highlights, interviews, and much, much more. And we'll be back for more action from Turkey Derby 21 right after this break. Welcome back to Wall Stadium, Turkey Derby 21 racing action. Mike Sancelli waves the green flag and we get back underway. Double file restart. Boy, the outside groove seems to be working well.
Jim Hawks tried to get his lead back, but it looks like Sam Russo was able to hold him off.
Everybody pushing a little high exiting turn number 4.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting as these tires wear, Jeff. Hopefully in a few laps they'll have some heat built up into them and get a little bit more traction.
Ken Woolley, last year's overall champion, up into the top 5 now with the black number 40. Mike Carpenter making his way up into the top 5. He runs 5th. A lot of action. There's Woolley on the outside of Alan Krevling's 88.
Yeah, the 72 car seems like it's still working quite well, Jeff. So we'll keep an eye on him and see. You can't count him out. He's tough.
Vinnie Green, does experience come into play when these tires start wearing, the traction starts going away?
It sure does. Now you're going to be able to tell the experienced drivers from the rookies and the guys that have only driven for a couple of years. Because now's when you really have to finesse the race car. They're pretty easy to drive when they have fresh rubber on them, but when the tires start to wear down like this, this separates the men from the boys.
Sam Russo in the 3-year leader, 33 Jim Hawk 2nd. Real good battle right now. Looks like the battle for 3rd. And we have a car spun. Looks like Jacoby's 28 spun over in turn 2. And we'll see if that triggers a caution. Here's a great battle, however, the 40 of Woolley, the 72 of Carpenter. And they have displayed the yellow flag for the 28 of Jacoby, sitting a bit too close to the apron over in turn number 2.
Yeah, it's the same, Jeff. He's had a real good day today, Doug, in the 28 car.
Now, hopefully he just needs a push to get that car restarted. No, apparently he's going to drive away on his own. Hamilton driver Doug Jacoby. Let's watch it again. Well, what do you think, Vinny?
Doesn't look like anyone got near him. It looks like he just lost it coming off the corner there, Jeff.
He may be becoming a victim of the worn tire blues.
Yeah, right now you'd like to take about 2 inches of stagger out of the back of that car.
Once again, stagger, a racing term. Vinny, I believe it has to do with the size of the tires?
Right. Generally, we run the right rear tire 3 to 3.5, 3 3/4 of an inch larger than the left rear tire. The larger you make the distance between the two tires, the better the car works through the corner. But as the tires wear and the race wears on, you want that number to close up, and it makes the car have more traction as it exits the turn. And unfortunately, you can't change that once the race starts.
Now, the stagger, the height of the tire, how do you adjust that when you're setting up the car? Simply air pressure?
Air pressure, and the left side tires are a little smaller than the right side tires when you buy them. Also, the amount of air that you use in the tires, sometimes you can kind of contemplate how much they're going to grow.
All right, we're ready to go back to action. Sam Russo in the 3 is still your leader. Sam Russo races out of the shadows down the backstretch. Car number 3, 33 at Jim Hawks runs 2nd, the 40 Ken Woolley 3rd. 4th, Mike Carpenter, and now Brian Sisko up to 5th spot. He won the first feature.
Brian's tough. Let's see what happens here. It looks like Mike Carpenter can see the inside of Ken Woolley. If he gets Ken Woolley up too high, he's going to be able to sneak under him.
And that's exactly what happened here. Side by side, the 72 of Carpenter.
There he goes. Remember I was telling you how that 72 car works low. And that's how he's won most of his races this year, by being able to get around these guys on the inside.
Mike Carpenter looking real strong in car number 72.
Nice putting the pressure on Jim Hawks and see if he can rattle his cage a little bit coming down that front straightaway.
Hey, it looks like Mike Carpenter is a man on a mission.
Yeah, he definitely is. Has the 33 car in his gun sights. Here he goes to the outside.
Boy, that car seems to be working well. You wouldn't know it was on worn tires.
I'll tell you, he got a real good fight coming off that corner. That's tough to do when you're on the outside like that, Jeff. There he goes. He's by him clean now.
Iron Mike Carpenter, your 1994 driving champion, up to second. Let's see if he can reel in the leader, Sam Russo.
Looks like he's able to, Jeff. He's closing the gap up little by little here.
And we still have a long way to go. This could get very, very interesting. There's a good battle now, I believe, for third spot. And we have a spinning car, the 88 of Alan Krevling in turn 2. He's cleared the racetrack. And I believe he'll return to the track as the leaders roar by.
Carpenter's pretty close to him now, Jeff. He's going to start putting the pressure on him any minute now.
Mike Carpenter was in this position in the first 50-lapper with Brian Sisko. Ended up getting out in the high groove in 3 and 4 and lost a couple of spots. You think he's learned anything from that?
No, I don't think so. He's going to still run as hard as he can.
Right now he's got the advantage. Nobody on his bumper. He can really concentrate on the leader. Doesn't have to worry about the challengers for the moment.
That's right. He can make any move he wants now behind the 3 car with anybody taking his position away from him. He's looking to the outside of Sam Russo. I guess he's trying to psych him out and think that he's going to go around him on the outside, and when he's not looking, he's going to drive under him. That's my guess.
I'll tell you, Vinny, another one of those battles that you could watch for 100 or 150 laps. The time will run out when 50 are in the books.
Yeah, it definitely is exciting at this time, Jeff.
All right, you're in the 72 right now, Vinny Green. What would you do?
If I could, I'd push him into the corner so hard I'd get him to push up and then drive under him.
The intimidation factor. Make him into play. There it is right there.
There it is right there. Sometimes when you hit a car like that in a straightaway, you unload the back tires.
All right, it looks like the 33 of Jim Hawks may be taking advantage of the battle between Carpenter and Russo as he's closed in. Here comes Ken Woolley. All of a sudden, we've got 4 cars under a blanket.
Yeah, now Mike has to be careful. He's got 2 guys right behind him. He can't be as choosy as he wants and look which lane he wants to be in. He's really pushing him now. Look at that, Jeff. There he goes.
Mike Carpenter gets by Russo on the infield.
I don't know if something broke in Sam's car or whatever. Yeah, he just gave up. Looks like something happened to him.
So it's Mike Carpenter, your leader in car number 72. Sam Russo was your leader. He now sits on the infield.
Like I said, Jeff, the highs are high and the lows are low.
I tell you, it really looked like Sam Russo might have the race well in hand.
I thought he had him covered there.
And then suddenly, in a matter of moments, he sits on the infield. Now Mike Carpenter, your leader. Vinny Green, you've watched this car all day, the 72 of Mike Carpenter, now putting a lap on Dan McLaughlin. You've watched the others. You think anyone can catch him in this race?
I don't think so. Mike Carpenter's got an exceptionally well-handling race car at this point. It handled well all year long, and a good handling car saves its tires. He's got the advantage right now.
Well, you're talking about it, the tires, they want to save them. If you're Mike Carpenter, you're leading a good distance. What do you do right now? Mike
Carpenter leaves his foot to the floor. He doesn't care how far he's out front. Myself, I would probably back off it a little bit, but then again, you don't know until you're in that car.
Well, Mike Carpenter out in front. Second spot is the 33 of Jim Hawks. Third, the 40, Ken Woolley. Fourth, Dave Garfinkel in the 21. And fifth is the 12. There's the checker flags, and Mike Carpenter takes the victory. So Mike Carpenter takes the win. And that noise you just heard was a sigh of relief from George Andretta at Carmen's Pizzeria and Jack Bernakeets from Jam Racing Engines. Their $5,000 is safe because we now have 2 winners in 2 different main events here in Turkey Derby 21. Iron Mike Carpenter, who really came of age here in 1994, and really it all started with a great run last year at Turkey Derby.
Right?
He sure did. Ever since that Turkey Derby, he's been super strong. Let's see how he runs again next year. He's been gifted this year.
Well, we'll listen to Victory Lane.
You know, Jeff, he started way back in the back, too. It wasn't like he was up front.
Mike
I believe he was in
Carpenter,
13th.
quite a run. And there he races across the line for the victory. Mike Carpenter came from lucky 13th starting spot.
Lucky 13th.
So he's getting a big round of applause as he celebrates with the checker flags and the winning trophies down in Victory Lane.
So Mike Carpenter again down the Victory Lane for a Wall Stadium win. He won one of the
Mike Carpenter chatting with car owner Doug Walcott, his wife Gina, getting ready to celebrate this victory. Trophies being presented by modified driver Chris LeRae, and he'll be down to Victory Lane to congratulate the winner. Shore Metric Car Care presenting the winning trophies in main event number 2 for the modifieds here at Turkey Derby 21. And as Mike Carpenter celebrates, we'll take this opportunity to give you a break from the action, and we will return for a street stock feature racing competition and more modified action in just a moment. Welcome back to Turkey Derby 21. 2 big main events remain. The 20-lapper for the street stocks, and then the final 50-lapper for the modified cars. Triple P Painting presenting the trophies to the winners of this street stock feature race. Vinnie Green, 28 cars ready to go to battle. This should be wild.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, Jeff. These guys really do a lot of slamming and banging. It's tough to pass in this division because there's cars in front of you, there's cars around side of you. They race 3 wide in the corners. Let me tell you, they really do. They do take up a lot of room on a racetrack, and it's tough to get through the pack with them.
I'll tell you, they put on a wild show. Speaking of wild shows, on Friday, day 1 of Turkey Derby 21, 77, Craig Pepe Wallace of Farmingdale in the Action Enterprises. 77 was the winner, so he is the favorite right now to be the overall driving champion. Points compiled, the best average finish between 2 features. We're ready. There's the green flag, Vinnie Green. Here come the street stocks.
There they go. Looks like a pretty clean start from the beginning here, Jeff. There you go. 3 wide in a corner. You can get away with it with these cars and still come out smelling like a rose sometimes.
All right, Ed Sicca in the 44. A new name to Wall Stadium is your leader, Ed Sicca, car number 44.
Right now he's doing a super job, Jeff. He looks good.
All right, 31, Darren Burge, more of a veteran of Turkey Derby and Wall Stadium action, rides second. Everybody's staying nice and clean at the moment, trying to pick their way through the field. They're all chasing that rabbit, the 44, Ed Sicca.
Yeah, good start so far, Jeff.
Real good, nice, clean racing. The street stocks show the boys how to do it in the early going here at Turkey Derby 21. Now, car number 44, driven several times this season by Marvin Tenor, one of the Tenor brothers from South Jersey, but Ed Sicca, a new face behind the wheel, but he's doing a great job in the early going.
Looks like the yellow's out, Jeff. Looks like a car got loose between 3 and 4.
Looks like the 80 of Paul Burge, spinning harmlessly, but bringing out a caution flag in the early going here of the street stock 20-lap main event. 4 laps are now in the record books. 20, check that, 16 to go of the 20 scheduled for the street stocks.
Here we go on a replay, Jeff.
Another look at it.
Guys did a good job behind him missing that wreck. Let me tell you, they were definitely on their toes that time.
One car came real close. Looked like a bit of bumper run out there. Paul Burge becomes a big victim as he spins around, and he'll have to go to the back of the pack. He started around mid-pack, 17th spot, but he'll go the long distance now. Vinnie Green, I guess most of the cars in this street stock division, relatively stock cars, cars that you'd see on the road every day.
Basically, that's what they are. They're old cars that you change the tires and springs on them, and that's about it. Put a roll cage in them. You really can't do any extensive chassis modifications. Moving the motors back or forth or off to the side. You really can't relocate the pedals or the seats in them. They're basically street stock cars. You weld the doors shut on them and put the roll cage in them, of course, for safety, and also stiffens the chassis and helps it handle a little bit better.
Still, I'll tell you, a lot of drivers take a lot of pride in the race cars, sharp-looking race cars. Remember, they've been through 26, 27 weeks of competition and come out here to Turkey Derby, so they do have some dents and dings, kind of battle scars that they carry proudly after a tough season of racing.
There's a couple of them out there, Jeff, that look better than my modified at this point, so I can't complain.
Turkey Derby 21 action. Street stock feature race, 16 laps to go. All right, there's a green flag and we get back underway. Darren Burge in the 31 is rocketed to the lead. Vinnie Green, we've got trouble for Ed Sicca. He spins up at turn number 3.
Yeah, he got a little loose coming off of turn 2 there, Jeff. He never really did regain it coming down that backstretch and just lost the handle on it.
So we might have put another lap in the books, but yellows are out once again here. Ed Sicca goes from first to worst in the 44. He was leading just a lap ago. He'll have to restart at the rear of the field.
Remember, the highs are high.
And the lows are low. Let's look at it again. All right, Vinny, looking at that one, I guess a law of racing comes into play here. 2 cars can't occupy the same part of the racetrack at one time.
Just ran out of real estate, Jeff. The rest of the cars, they did a good job avoiding that, Jeff. So looks like they'll have it lined up pretty soon and we'll be ready to go.
Once again, a good description of how these cars kind of bump and run. They can keep going. What might have happened there with an open wheel modified?
You definitely would have been towing a couple of cars away. When those open wheels touch, one wheel climbs on top of the other wheel, and it usually ends up breaking the shock or the upper control arm or the lower A-frame or something like that. And you're pretty much definitely going to have to get towed in because you're not going to be able to steer.
Well, it looks like at least one more lap under caution. In fact, Mike Sancelli, our starter, giving the signal to the drivers now. We're going to go right back to action. One more lap to go. So we'll call it 4 laps in and 16 remaining. 4 down, 16 to go. Darren Burge in the 31. The 68, Greg Gastelyu to his outside. That car number 69, renumbered 68 for this event. Ken Matlack in the 34, up into the top 5. He was a point challenger all season long as we go back to action.
They go 3 wide down the backstretch.
Couple of wheels on the infield, but they keep on going. The 57, Scott Parkstrom, on the move now. He was your 1994 driving champion. He battled that 34 of Ken Matlack all season long. Right now they're battling to get up to the front. Darren Burge in the 31, looking for the victory.
I raced with Scott Parkstrom back when they used to be Modern Stocks, the Pro Stock division. And he's still at it. He's still racing.
Scott Parkstrom, kind of a born-again race car driver, as we see the yellow flag for a bit of a bumper tag on the front stretch. He raced back in the Modern Stock division, took a lot of time off, came back here in the street stocks, and second in points last year, and this year the driving champion.
Yeah, he has a lot of experience, so you really can't count him out no matter where he starts in this division. He's going to be tough, very tough.
Of course, you may be watching, Vinny, the last appearance by Scott Parkstrom here in the street stock. We understand that his race team, Tasmanian Racing, as they call it, has purchased the Pro Stock and plan on advancing to Pro Stock racing in 1995.
It'll be interesting. He'll run very good, let me tell you. You wouldn't have to worry about him in that division, trying to get used to it. He'll be just fine.
So a piece of debris on the speedway. The hard-working track crew will be around to collect that before we go back to action. Still in the first half of the 20-lapper for the street stocks. Turkey Derby 21 action here at Wall Stadium. Track crews sweeping up the track as the fans enjoy late October sunshine. Perhaps that's Santa Claus sitting in the grandstands getting ready for Christmas time. Nice beard.
You never know, Jeff.
Yellow flag remains out. Another young fan watching the action. And apparently this lady didn't bring along a blanket or an Afghan for the cool temperatures, so she's knitting her own right here at the track while the temperature drops a little bit as the afternoon continues on.
Necessity's the mother of invention.
There you go. If you can't bring it with you, make it when you're there.
Actually, it's not a bad day, Jeff. I've been down here where it was so cold we had to put heaters on our engines.
Oh, I remember drivers putting their bumpers against guardrails and spinning the back tires to work heat into them.
Yeah, that's right.
14 laps to go, and we go right back to action. Darren Burge leads them down the back. Good battle for second. Watch that 34 of Ken Matlack. 3 cars, you could throw a blanket over them. They're so close. Kenny Matlack, Franklin Square, Long Island, New York driver. Challenging Darren Burge. There's a little bit of bumper run, but everybody keeps him in the right direction.
A little bit of jam car going on there, Jeff. It looked good.
Once again, the wild action possible here with the street stocks. Ken Matlack turning up the wick just a bit. He's working well on the outside.
He sure is working hard. These guys are driving their heart out right now, Jeff. Let me tell you, it's pretty hard to hang on to one of these cars.
Once again, for the street stocks, Turkey Derby, a big occasion as well. A lot of prestige, and Vinny, as a driver, it must feel good to take a win in the last race home for the winner.
It sure does. You have all winter to reflect back on it.
Well, here's one driver that'll rather forget his Turkey Derby experience. Kenny Reeves, car number 8, the 1993 street stock champion. He's got problems, and he is rolling slowly towards the infield up in turn number 4. And apparently he's lost the right front wheel somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I
so
saw
he has come to rest there in the infield.
Looks like he got a little too close to the fence coming off of turn 2 there.
And we'll get another look at it. Here is Reeves getting a little help. And Vinnie Green, the wood wins again.
Ooh, the number 13 was right there. Bad luck for Reeves.
Kenny Reeves, he's had his share of it this year. I'll tell you, in 1993, things went real well. A lot of feature wins, a driving title. He has not raced every week in 94, and when he has, more often than not, he probably wished he would have stayed in Piscataway.
Yeah, I've had nights like that, let me tell you. But hopefully next year things will turn around.
There you have an idea of maybe the heat into the tire now that it's off the car, a little bit of steam coming off that tire, reflecting the cool temperatures and the warm tire as it is taken back over to the Kenny Reeves number 8. Looks like 9 laps are in the books, Vinnie Green. 9 are in, 11 remain here. And of course, still the modifieds to come in their 50-lapper, their final of the 3 50-lappers of Turkey Derby 21.
It's definitely going to be interesting, the next 50-lapper. We'll see what happens with this tire situation on these cars.
Once again, they'll be running on ice. And it's not getting any warmer out either as the afternoon moves along.
No, the sun is starting to drop down, and looks like the racetrack, especially the back half and turn 2, is in the shade now. So the track temperature over there is going to drop considerably.
And can that make a big difference, not having the sun on the track?
It sure does. That black asphalt absorbs the sun, you know, and can actually go up 5 or 10 degrees over the air temperature, especially in the summertime. It really gets hot because we brought our barometer down here in the middle of the summer and checked the track surface temperature was over 125 degrees. And the air temperature that day was about 87, 88. So it really gets hot from the sun. And now with that sun dropping down there, it looks like it's going to be pretty cool over in that last back part of the straightaway.
You know, we're getting plenty of inside information from modified driver Vinnie Green today. You can get more inside information on all the racing action here at Wall Stadium by watching TV 34's Let's Go Racing and that coverage of Turkey Derby 21 coming up every Thursday and Friday night at 10 p.m. Highlights, interviews, much, much more. Make sure you watch Let's Go Racing every Thursday and Friday night at 10 p.m. on TV 34. All right, the car is back underway after the cleanup of the Kenny Reeves number 8. Ken Matlack, car number 34, is your leader. Second in points overall through the season, and he won a bunch of times. Did a good job, won a couple extra distance races. Running second in the 31, Darren Burge. Third, car 29, Joe Monjo, and look who's up to fourth. Scott Parkstrom in the 57. Who is your 1994 driving champion?
He's going to be tough, Jeff. If he catches these 2 lead cars, they're going to have their hands full.
I'll tell you, this race could come down to a battle that we've seen all year long. 34 Ken Matlack against the 57 of Scott Parkstrom. And although Matlack didn't get the title, I bet you'd be sweet to win that battle in the final race of the year.
You sure would. Like I said, you have all winter to reflect on it.
All right, with 11 to go, the green flag waves and we go right back to action. Ken Matlack, strong on the restart. He leads them down the backstretch, Vinny.
Yeah, he looks pretty good right now, Jeff. There is a 57 car into turn 3 and 4. He's working pretty well on the inside.
Okay, which spot you want to be in, Vinny Green? The leader, second, or third spot?
I'd like to be leading this one, Jeff, because you can make one of these cars pretty wide if you have to.
There's a little bit of that bumper tag down the backstretch. Everybody tries to keep him going in the right direction.
He did a good job saving it there.
Ken Matlack, Franklin Square, Long Island, New York. Still your leader in the 34.
Parkstrom's looking to the outside. Uh-oh. Here we go.
We've got a tangle up in turn number 2. Several cars coming together, and that brings out the yellow flag. There's the 80 of Paul Burge. As you mentioned before, boy, once you're in trouble, it's hard to get out of it. He spun before, went to the back of the pack and got hooked up. It looks like Steve Costello, the 67. Strong driver here each and every week. One of those drivers, it's amazing he has not made it into the winner's circle. Here's another look at it. I'll tell you, it's just every man for himself as they pile on.
Yeah, it looks like a few guys just didn't have anywhere to go, but they did a pretty good job cutting through the infield and trying to avoid it.
I'll tell you, it's amazing. Race drivers must have fantastic reflexes, as you said. Tight confines, high speeds. How do you get by some of them?
Sometimes you wonder yourself how you get by them, but most of it's reflex. If you actually have to think about what you're going to do in a race car, you're almost going to definitely crash. It's mostly reflex. When you see something like that happen, you usually turn to the left or the right. Sometimes you hit the brakes, sometimes you hit the gas. It all depends on what your reflexes are at the time.
So 11 laps are in the books, 9 to go in the street stock finale for 1994. There comes John Condit, car number 7, back on the speedway. Pit area has been a very busy place today. All in all, though, a very clean Turkey Derby up till now. We've had our share of crashes, but nothing too major, thankfully. Hopefully, we'll keep it that way the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah, let's hope so, Jeff.
But then again, as you mentioned, with those race-worn tires and 50 more laps for the modifieds, they will have their hands full.
And now the points battle is coming down to it, to the overall winner of the Turkey Derby. So the guys are going to be running a little bit harder than they were in the first 2 races, even though they're not going to have the race car under them.
And of course, there's that prestige of the overall championship. But of course, there's also a lot of money, $1,000 posted by Sunoco Racing Fuels and Kelly Racing Fuels for the overall champion, $500 for the overall runner-up.
Yeah, that'll go a long way this winter, especially when everybody rebuilds their cars and puts them back in shape for next season. $1,000 is a nice shot. Very nice shot.
Well, the fans are interested in who will be the overall champion as they enjoy mid-afternoon sunshine here at Wall Stadium in late November. Ken Matlack in the 34, still your leader. Darren Burge led earlier. He rides second at this point. Third is car number 57, Scott Parkstrom. Looks like the 54, Rob Longo, up to 4th. And 5th right now, car 29, Joe Monjo. "11 laps are in, 9 remain." Race fans of all ages enjoying the competition and the candy apples here at Wall Stadium as they watch Turkey Derby 21.
Yeah, the kids really like the auto races. It's exciting for them, you know, it's something different.
I tell you, I like Turkey Derby, but you still can't beat a warm summer night sitting out here under the stars watching stock car races.
No, it definitely is exciting, and it's a good family sport. You know, you can bring the family down here and watch the races, and it's close to home. You know, you don't have to drive to the city.
Well, family sport, your leader comes from a racing family. Kenny Matlack, his dad's been involved in auto racing for years. And right now, he leads the way in the street stock feature race. Kenny Matlack appears to be strong, Vinny. He's stretching an advantage.
Yeah, he's got a pretty long lead right here now. Is that Scott Parkstrom working on the inside?
Parkstrom working on Darren Burge, trying to take over 2nd spot. And he has gotten the job done. Now, can he track down the leader, Kenny Matlack?
Right now, Scott Parkstrom's hoping for a caution. Let me tell you, I would be right now.
And his wish
and
is
there it
true.
is. There it is.
Looks like Darren Burge, who led earlier, getting around the wrong way on that one-way street. And I guess Scott Parkstrom's been a good boy. His wish came true, huh?
Yeah, let's see what happens now on the restart.
Got his Christmas gift about a month early with that spin to close him up. I'll just bet that Scott Parkstrom wished this came about 5 laps ago, so it was a double file restart.
Yeah, so you could have the advantage of being on the outside there on the restart and hope that he can jump the pole car on the start.
Tell you, a driver looking real good, and we'll get to him in a minute. Here's a replay of what happened up there. Several cars trying to get by once the 31 spun. Almost everyone made it, a few dented fenders.
Yeah, they were basically just ran out of real estate again, Jeff.
You know, Craig Wallace, he started way back about 20th spot. He won yesterday, up to 4th spot. We've been watching the battle for the lead. He has advanced to 4th spot. So Craig Wallace trying to win the overall championship, car number 77. And of course, a lot of money up for grabs there, a $300 bonus in the street stocks for the overall champion.
That's definitely nice to get that kind of money.
And $200 to the runner-up, so.
It's not bad.
Craig Wallace taking his time coming through the pack.
That's right, patience, and hopefully he'll be able to pick up another spot or two. That was my old number when I started racing, number 77.
All right, maybe we know who Vinnie Green's favorite is in here due to sentimental values. The 77 of Craig Wallace. By the way, he'll be leaving that car after this season. That's his own car. He's going to be parking that and climbing aboard the K9, car number K9, a car driven by Ray Rivera here for many years. Ray Rivera stepping out of that car. Craig Wallace, for the first time in his career, will cease being the car owner and just be the hired gun. There's a hired gun, Darren Burge. The helmet's off, the gloves are off. Things do not look good for the driver of the Mr. Fence number 31. And there's a young fan enjoying the action. As a lot of folks stretch their legs just a little bit before we get back underway in the late stages. And this could be a real good shootout. Once again, Vinnie Green, car 34, Ken Matlack, second in points during the year. 57, your point champion, Scott Parkstrom. And tell you, that was a nice thing there. They battled and battled hard, but they came out of it friends right down to the end, and that's nice to see.
Yeah, it's tough to do sometimes.
A lot of pressure from your sponsors, your fans, and it must be tough to do. There's some of the track crew members and members of the media in the infield, taking in all the action of Turkey Derby 21.
Looks like they're ready to go, Jeff.
And the green flag waves, just a few laps remaining with Ken Matlack, your leader, the 57, Scott Parkstrom second. Keep an eye on this duo. Well, it looks like they're very tight here down the front stretch. 57, Scott Parkstrom right on his bumper. 34, Matlack is your leader.
He applied the pressure in 1 and 2 there, but he didn't rattle the 34 car. He's doing a really good job holding on.
Ken Matlack, last year's Rookie of the Year in the 34. And as you said, he's doing a great job of holding on against the veteran, Scott Parkstrom.
It's pretty intimidating when you're going 60, 70 miles an hour into a corner like these guys are and have somebody run in the back of your car.
Well, especially as you said, they're not quite as stable as cars with the wider tires. You can get a handful real quick.
Right, sure can. And these guys, they have no mercy on each other when trying to move someone out of the way, let me tell you.
Speaking of no mercy, there was some fender scrapping as we go back to the leaders.
There goes Scott trying to work him on the outside.
Looks like Ken Matlack slammed the door on him just a bit. We have just 2 laps to go, Vinny. 2 to go now. It'll be the white flag this time by Scott Parkstrom. You going to make a move?
He's running out of time, Jeff. I don't know. He doesn't seem like he has the horsepower in a straightaway to get by him.
There's the white flag. Final time by.
All or nothing now, Jeff. He's trying.
All right, we watch.
Half a car to go.
Down the front they come.
Photo finish.
It was close. It looked like Ken Matlack able to hold on.
I think so.
We'll see who comes to victory lane. That's how close it's been all season with this battle for the point championship in the street stocks between those 2 drivers. And you can bet Scott Parkstrom will stop down to congratulate the winner.
It's really close there, Jeff.
Here's the replay. You make the call.
Inches.
Inches. That's how close it gets in stock car racing here at Wall Stadium. Well, Vinny, I believe the fans are going to get another chance to see those cars battle, because apparently that spinning car that was on the apron of turn 3 and 4 in our excitement forced a yellow, so we're going to go back with 1 lap to go. A quick yellow by starter Mike Sancelli.
All right, let's do it, guys.
with 1 lap to go.
It's going to be tough for Scott to take the lead with 1 lap to go, especially starting behind him.
Do you think, too, maybe he showed his hand that time, that final time by, showed that he can move to the outside? Will Matlack try to counteract that?
If Matlack plays his cards right, he's not going to let Scott Parkson get to the outside.
All right, let's watch them. Down the backstretch they go. All right, the checkers wave this time, and it is Ken Matlack in for the win in the 34. It was more exciting the first time, though, Vinny.
It sure was, but he did a good job.
I wish they wouldn't have thrown that yellow flag.
That happened to me in the Budweiser 70 lapper. I had 1 lap to go and a caution came out. Let me tell you.
How's that make a driver feel?
It's pretty unnerving at the time when you have another car run on your back bumper. Everybody tightens up the pack, and you know, you can miss a shift, you know, spin the tires. It's a tough place to be in, leading and 1 lap to go.
Well, I'll tell you what. Going to show real nice sportsmanship here. The Triple P Painting Company, who is presenting today's trophies, are sponsors of Scott Parkstrom's car, the car that finished second. So their representatives will be down to congratulate the winner. And we'll listen in for a minute down in Victory Lane with Ken Matlack.
Hey, 3 or 2 of them.
And everyone, if you really want to listen to Ken Matlack,
Ken.
Tune in to TV 34's Let's Go Racing.
Oh, I guess they're going to take it on this side. Nice job, bud. Good pace.
Jeff's going to take a break right now.
Welcome back to Wall Stadium and TV 34's exclusive coverage of Turkey Derby 21. 1 main event left, 50 laps for the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at what may have been the pass of the weekend. Iron Mike Carpenter working over Sam Russo in the 3. Plenty of contact as they work through turn number 2. Vinny, what do you say?
Right now, it looks like Mike's car is, it lifted up Sam's car and unloaded his back tires, and Mike took advantage of the situation and just went to the outside.
Right after that, Sam Russo ducked to the infield with a 3. Mike Carpenter raced on to the win. Unofficially at present, we see Mike Carpenter leading in the points tallied for the first 2 races. He is overall ahead of everybody else. Brian Sisko is second. And look at this, ladies and gentlemen, when we go to action, Mike Carpenter, Iron Mike, on the outside of row number 1. Vinny Green, if you were a betting man, who would you bet on now?
I guess I'd put my money on a number 72 car.
All right, that's Mike Carpenter in the 72. He'll have a lot of competition. The 32 of Jerry Cramner starts to the inside on row number 1. Row number 2, young Mark Rogers in the 44, and last year's Turkey Derby overall champion, the 40 of Ken Woolley. Looks like row 3 will be the 35 of Dennis O'Rourke and the 14 of Harry Reid. 28 in all as we go green, the final leg of the triple 50s. They're tight down the backstretch, but it looks like Mike Carpenter may get the edge on Jerry Cramner.
There's a little loose coming off of turn 2 there, but looks like he's got him.
Vinny, we talked about the worn tires. Is it scary? Is it dangerous running the high groove in his third 50 lapper?
Yeah, sure is, because you can bounce your right rear off the fence and make it go flat, and then you're out of the race. He did a good job hanging on to it, and he's got a pretty decent lead on him right now. So it looks like Mike Carpenter, unless anything breaks on his race car, he might just have this one covered.
All right, speaking of breaking on race cars, we've got a couple cars in trouble. That's going to bring out the yellow flags. Dave Garfinkel's 21 up by the guardrail in turn 4. It looks like Chris LeRay's 74 down on the apron. Garfinkel drives away from the scene. Chris LeRay will do the same thing. We just have a few laps in the books. Just 2 laps in the books. 2 laps are down. A bit of elegance. The trophy's presenters for this third and final 50 lapper for the Budweiser Racing Series Modifieds, the final event on this third mile paved oval for 1994.
This is the one we've been waiting for.
Mike Carpenter will get to go from the inside. And Vinnie Green, if you're Mike Carpenter, he's got to know he's up there in the points for this overall title. He is the race leader. What do you do when we go back to action?
Smooth as fast. He has to drive that car as smoothly as possible, try to save his tires as much as possible, and stay in front of those guys. I think he can do it.
Now, you mentioned before that you thought the 72 was handling to perfection. You also mentioned that a car that is handling well does not wear tires as badly. Do you think that's the edge that Mike Carpenter has here?
I definitely think it's the edge that he has here. But Jerry Kramer has an awful strong race car too, but I really don't know what his tire situation is like right now. Mike Carpenter still looks like he has some tire left on his car, so he's going to be really, really tough to get by.
Car number 40, Ken Woolley, up into the 3rd spot, the black 40. He was last year's overall champion in Turkey Derby action.
Mike has the advantage on that restart.
Iron Mike Carpenter, hard to stop all season, 6 main event wins, the overall driving championship for the year, and he looks strong here in Turkey Derby 21.
Looks like Jerry Kramer's able to put a little pressure on him in the corners. Let's see if Mike can pull away from him a little bit. But right now, Jerry's running really close to his back bumper.
Still a long way to go in this 50 lapper.
Kramer's looking to his inside, Jeff.
This one may not be over yet. Jerry Kramer, a seasoned veteran, trying to find a way back to the front past the 72 of Mike Carpenter.
Yeah, Jerry has a lot of race car under him, Jeff. He might be able to do it. Here comes a caution.
And we have trouble, I believe. It's the Sunoco Ultra Service Center's 94 of Richie Englehart. In trouble as he looped it, exiting turn number 4.
Looked like he's okay, and he's going to be able to continue, Jeff.
Once again, perhaps the telltale signs of race-worn tires coming into play.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it.
Still the early going of this 50 lapper, so Jerry Kramer will have another shot on that outside groove as we'll go double file restart. 5 laps are in, 45 laps remain.
If Jerry can get the bike coming off the corner, he'll be able to take the lead again.
Brian Sisko, car number 12, he was the winner of our first 50 lapper. He returns to the speedway. Right back to green we go. Mike Carpenter's tough to beat.
He pulled away, Jeff.
Ken Woolley right now trying to get up into that 3rd spot. He races to the inside of the 14 of Harry Reid.
Looks like the yellow's back out again, Jeff.
Trouble on the speedway. There's the 59 of Barney Truex. Car number 9, John Blewett III. John Blewett III entering Turkey Derby. His first time back here at Wall Stadium in 2 years. Unfortunately, we really haven't heard much from John Blewett today. 6 laps in the record book. 6 laps are complete. John Blewett, the third, who races car number 76 on the NASCAR trail, hitching a ride in the Lou Vasquez number 9 for this Turkey Derby weekend. And he has had his share of problems as he rejoins the field to try to get ready to go back to action.
It's tough to come to a track that you haven't run on in the last couple of years and just learn how the other drivers drive and how they go and in traffic and out of traffic, and it's pretty tough to do what he's trying to do.
Once again, you're at the wheel of a strange car, a car you're not used to. In fact, that car really hasn't competed here much at all.
Not this year, it hasn't, no.
And I understand that Blewett and his crew did a lot of work on that car to get it ready for this Turkey Derby. Right now, he's up to looks like 6th spot, and I believe that's about his best showing of the day. So as the day has worn on, maybe Blewett's sorting that car out a little bit. Plenty of time, over 40 laps to go, and we go back to action, and it's the same story. Mike Carpenter back out front.
Yeah, it looks like he's got the advantage on the restart, but Jerry's sticking his nose underneath there, Jeff. Take a look.
Jerry Cramner, not one to give up. Never say die. He's got a lot more time to go after the leader.
He's definitely putting the pressure on, let me tell you. It's going to be a good race.
14 of Harry Reid up to 3rd. Ken Woolley in the 40 rides 4th.
Jerry had a little sideways coming off of turn 4 there, trying to stick his nose underneath the 72 car. Trying to work his way around the 0 car.
There's a couple of rookies for 1994, the 0, Jim Bruno, the 44, Mark Rogers. We go back to the veterans. Mike Carpenter in the Mike Kennedy Racing 72, Jerry Cramner in the Manahawkin Automotive number 32. Harry Reid rides 3rd in the 14. Rick Moriello in the Beechwood Texaco 65, another standout here at Wall Stadium, who we really haven't heard too much from during Turkey Derby 21.
Rick has a very strong race car down here just about every night, Jeff.
And it looks like a driver in trouble. And it is Rick Moriello coming to a stop over in turn 2. Looks like he just drove up out of the groove, perhaps some type of problem or a flat tire on the 65. I believe he'll head to the pit area. And Vinny, do you really notice anything dreadfully wrong with the car?
Not really. Maybe he has a tire going down, Jeff, but it doesn't look like it's all the way flat yet.
He was just running very well and pulled up out of the racing groove, came to a stop at turn 2.
I'd imagine that's what it is. He has a tire that's going soft on him.
Jeff Loesch in the Carmen's Pizzeria number 19, also headed for the showers, at least temporarily. So 11 laps are in, 39 still to go. More than the regular distance main event. Rick Moriello's ready to return as we go back to action.
Mike Carpenter pulled on the 32 car again on a restart, Jeff. Looks like he's trying to put some distance between him and Jerry.
Car number 72, just very, very strong out there, Mike Carpenter.
Harry Reid is running very strong, too, right now behind the 32 car. He's got a lot of car left.
That's about the best showing for Harry Reid all season long.
Yes, it is.
The 14.
Former modified driver here.
Still Mike Carpenter in the 72, Jerry Cramner in the 32, Harry Reid in the 14. Those are your top 3 drivers. Ken Woolley in the 40 appears to be 4th, although he is a distance behind.
Right now, your first 3 cars are all running about the same speed. There probably isn't a 100th of a second between all 3 of them. Each one of them's waiting for the other one to make a mistake at this point.
3 cars under a blanket, battling for the victory. 2 of those drivers we haven't heard much from today. 32 of Jerry Cramner and the 14 of Harry Reid. Mike Carpenter has gotten all the headlines. Third place in the first feature, a win in the second. He's leading here in third.
Yeah, if he can maintain this lead, Jeff, it looks like he might wrap it up today. Jerry's putting the pressure on him pretty hard coming off of turn 4.
Now, I noticed it looked like Carpenter and Cramner taking the high groove coming out of the corner. 14 Harry Reid appeared to be going low. Any reason for that?
The 72 and the 32 car are losing their tires more than the 14 car is. The 14 car has more bite coming off the corner, so he can tuck it down lower. As the tires wear, you have to move the car up higher on the racetrack to get the bite coming off the corner to keep your tire spin down to a minimum.
Jerry Cramner tries the inside then, and it appears he didn't really get the traction he wanted.
He didn't, and he lost his, good car length behind it. As soon as you slip up a little bit, the other car will pick up 1 or 2 car lengths.
There's a good look at the 72. You've had plenty good looks at that car today. It's your leader, Mike Carpenter. Jerry Cramner in the 32. Surprisingly, another one of those drivers. You would have thought he won this year. He hasn't held the checker flag all through 94.
No, he hasn't, but I'll tell you what, Jeff, toward the end of the year, I know as I race up through the pack and get next to Jerry, he's very, very tough to get around, if you can get around him at all. He's definitely coming to his own now in this division. It's taken him a year to get used to these cars. These are tough race cars to drive.
He's getting his last opportunity of 1994 to grab that checker flag as he continues to chase Mike Carpenter's 72.
Yeah, Jerry's going to be very tough next season in this car. It's really starting to work out for him now. He's one of the better cars here.
Jerry Cramner continues to apply the pressure, and look at John Blewett the third getting in the mix. He rides fourth. We now have 4 cars running tight.
4-car battle right now, Jeff.
And we are at the halfway mark. And Jerry Cramner having troubles.
That takes the pressure off Mike Carpenter temporarily.
Once again, Vinnie Green, do you think that was a matter of tire wear?
Definitely. Yep, he accelerated, he hit the accelerator coming off the corner, and the car just got away from him.
Mike Carpenter breathes a sigh of relief as he stretches an advantage. A little bit of trouble in turn 2, and that brings out the yellow flag. Looks like Rick Moriello in the 65, Barney Truex in the 59 among those getting involved, and just when Mike Carpenter had an advantage, it shrinks. Let's look at it again. A couple drivers already in trouble on the apron of the speedway.
Yeah, Jeff, these cars are getting very difficult to drive now. You can see the tires are just starting to slowly fade.
And I am sure, I think I know the answer to this. Where's the best place to be when the tires are all gone?
Definitely up front. Definitely up front, because even though you might be a little faster than a car in front of you in second place or third place or fourth, whatever, you still don't have enough tire to pass the guy. So in the front is definitely the place to be. But I know Mike didn't want to see that last caution come out.
We are just at the halfway mark, 25 laps remaining. Current leader, Mike Carpenter from Rumson, who has really come into his own this year with the 1994 Budweiser Racing Series modified title. And if he could do it here, 2 wins and the overall title in Turkey Derby 21. Steve Rogers, who has had a day he'd rather forget, coming back out on the track. As I said, that car, they put a new motor together for a pre-Turkey Derby practice. That motor exploded, got the car running good with the motor in it now. Early this morning, the clutch blew out from the car. They had to replace the entire drive line from the motor back, and he has struggled all day as well. Not in the right place at the right time.
No, but I tell you, he's still there, Jeff. He's still in there fighting.
So the track crew working over in turn number 2, trying to clean up the racing surface. And we are at halfway in the final 50-lapper of the weekend and of 1994. Mike Carpenter in the 72 is your leader. The 14, Harry Reid, runs second. Looks like young John Blewett III has advanced to third on the field. And we'll have more Turkey Derby action right after this. Welcome back to Wall Stadium, more Turkey Derby 21 action. The crowd watching the modifieds for the final time in 1994. Mike Carpenter has been a big story in this event, and with 25 laps remaining, he has a third place finish in the first 50-lapper, a win in the second, and he is leading here in the third. Car owned by former driver Doug Walcott, with support from Mike Kennedy Racing and Red Bank Title Service. Mike Carpenter trying to finish up a dream season with a championship here at Turkey Derby. And Vinnie Green, I guess there's no other way to describe it, a dream season for Mike Carpenter.
It definitely has been, Jeff. He's been at the right place at the right time all season. He got a really, really good restart that time, Jeff. He's got about 4 car lengths between him and the 14 car right now.
And it did look like Harry Reid may have lost the handle a little bit up there in turn number 1 and 2, probably from tire wear.
I'll tell you what, Harry sure did close the gap. Mike's car looked like it's very loose right now, and Harry's putting the pressure on him big time.
We'll have to keep a close eye on the 72. He's got a handful, and he's got a stampede behind him.
He gave Harry the room on the outside, and Harry's going to take advantage of it. Harry definitely has more tire on his car right now.
Harry Reid, your leader in the 14, but here comes young John Blewett.
Mike just has to hang on and finish 3rd or 4th, and he can still win the overall title.
I'll tell you, but the cars are cruising by quickly.
That's what I mean between the one caution to the next, Jeff. You see what happens? See how quick his tires went away? He's moving to the back of the pack.
Vinnie Green, when that caution waved, you said that you thought Mike Carpenter didn't want to see it. How true you were.
Yeah, he's back to about 10th place now. Look how fast. He's going to the rear of the field.
Mike Carpenter fading quickly. Harry Reid, your leader. But John Blewett coming on. Now Harry Reid just seemed to bobble. Went down to the low groove. John Blewett gained some ground.
Harry Reid's running into some lap traffic now, it looks like, Jeff. But he seems to get by him pretty good without any problems here.
Vinnie Green, keep a close look on both of these drivers. What do you see? Do you see either one with an advantage?
I don't see either one with an advantage right now, except I think Harry's a little bit better coming off the corner. He has a little bit better traction than the number 9 car does right now. Watch him here, he's able to pull away.
Harry Reid in the 14 is your leader. The 9, young John Blewett, runs second. The overall title now is anyone's guess.
Harry has a real strong race car still, Jeff. Just putting distance on the number 9 car right now. If his tires can hold up without another caution, probably going to be the winner.
Harry Reid has apparently taken care of the rubber on car number 14. As he leads here in the 3rd main event for the Budweiser Racing Series Modified.
Lap traffic plays a big part now, Jeff. If you get a lap car racing, he can really hold you up to the outside and really burn your rubber off at this time.
One car car spun over into the infield in turn 2, but it doesn't look like it's going to play a part in the conclusion of this race.
Looks like the lap cars are paying attention to the move over flag and are giving the leaders plenty of room to race.
I tell you, that has to be a worry. You're leading the race, you see lap cars, I bet you're hoping and praying they stay to the inside.
You sure are, because sometimes they don't pay attention to the move over flag and they're racing for whatever position they're racing for, and they don't realize you're catching him so fast.
A lot of action back in the pack. Here's Ken Woolley in the 40, Dave Michael in the 60, and J.J. Jensen in the X2.
There again, your lap cars are in the way, so it's hard for anybody to try to make a move on the outside or the inside of anybody because there's lap traffic in the way.
Just 5 laps to go as young John Blewett stalks Harry Reid in the 14. It's not over yet. That was proven with Mike Carpenter just moments ago.
You could definitely see the speeds are way down on the cars now, Jeff. I bet you're not even turning into 13.5s.
How's it look to you? Both cars running on race-worn tires. And we have a spin in turn 2. Let's see if that car can back away. It looks like Tim Steffen in the 52.
The first 2 cars both have good drivers in them, and they're able to hold the car down even though the tires are a disadvantage right now. They're able to keep the cars in a somewhat straight position coming off the corner. And even as they enter the corner, they're not letting the back get too loose. So they're doing a good job right now hanging on to these race cars.
All right, your leader is Harry Reid in the 14, and that is the white flag, the final lap of Turkey Derby, the final lap of 1994. If John Blewett's going to do something, he's got to do it now. He dives low.
Whoa, how about that for a finish, Jeff?
And there you have it. A wild finish as they cross the finish line. And everybody giving it their all to win the final main event of the year. And apparently, Vinny, a differing of opinions.
I never could figure out how you'd hit somebody with a helmet on. Definitely would seem to hurt your hand. But I know I've been there. I've been that aggravated. Let me tell you, you don't think of that.
Well, apparently, temper is flaring a bit. And I believe that was young John Blewett climbing from car number 9 and expressing his displeasure, apparently, with some action that took place on the speedway. Well, Harry Reid was involved in the tango, but apparently he would like to drive car number 14 to the winner's circle. And you want to talk about race-worn tires, Vinnie Green. There's a pair on the left-hand side of car number 14.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to use them for practice next week, Jeff, or next season.
Tell you, they may have
look like it's going to make it.
They may have to move victory lane for Harry Reid. Well, young John Blewett takes the long, long walk back to the pit area.
Harry Reid.
And he heads back to the pit area. That's always a long, long walk after a disappointment like that. I believe, though, as they crossed the line, Harry Reid in the 14 did get across the line first.
I think he did get across the line first, Jeff.
And really, John Blewett finished second. Nothing to overall be that upset about. But a wild finish. I think it comes down to what you said before. A win at the end of the year, a win in Turkey Derby, a win in the last race of the year, something that sticks with you all winter long. And everybody trying just extra hard to get that victory.
Yeah, Jeff, as a race car driver, second just isn't good enough, and winning is everything. And you do everything you can and anything you can on the last lap like that to win the race. Even if you have to win it on the roof, sometimes you just do it.
Unfortunately for Harry Reid, he's not celebrating his first victory at Wall Stadium in a long time the way he would have wanted to, with 2 flat tires on the left-hand side of car number 14. He appears to be A-OK. I think, as you mentioned, it doesn't quite make sense to punch a guy who's wearing a helmet.
No, but sometimes you don't think of that when you're really upset. But
And I guess for Harry Reid, there's a new use for those safety devices you use in the race car. You usually think of it about accidents, but I guess after the accident, it comes away. Here's a replay. Judge it for yourself. Let's look at who got across that finish line first. Vinnie Green, tell us what you see.
looks like Harry's got the lead right now, but Blewett's working a little bit better. Let's see what happens when they get near the finish line.
No, a lap car did come into play here. Just the wild card in the deck made it more exciting. Here you are.
Sure do. There he is. Harry pushes the lap car. Actually, Harry didn't do anything wrong. He just pushed the lap car out of his way, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it ended up with a pile of metal and some very hot tempers.
Yeah, that's those lap cars. They make things exciting. Sometimes you can't help it. You know, they're in the way. What are you going to do?
And there goes those emotions. Here's another angle. 1 lap to go. We'll watch it from that camera up in turn number 1. Vinny, what do you see here? Anything different at all?
Pretty much the same thing. Blewett's car looks like it's working a little bit better, but Harry's not going to give up that lead very easy, as we've seen.
So they go into turn number 3. It's still a tight battle. The lap car will come into play just about here. And Vinny described it as they come down the front.
That lap car held up Harry Reid. John Blewitt got a little bit better bike coming off the corner, and bang.
Up in the air they went. For all to see right in front of the grandstands, there's a bunch of twisted metal, flattened tires.
All 3 race cars are trying to occupy the same 20 feet of the racetrack.
Guess it comes back to that real estate thing. You can't put 2 cars in the same spot at the same time.
You can't do it, but let me tell you what, Jeff, these guys sure did try. They sure tried hard to win this race.
So the action is winding down here at Turkey Derby 21 as hopefully the tempers cool down just a little bit. Once again, auto racing, a very emotional sport indeed.
It certainly is, Jeff. The highs are high. And we just saw the lows.
Well, the winner has finally made it to victory lane, minus his race car. Harry
Reid came off
Reid
the 4th corner in the lead. The 9
is going to have to hold those trophies.
tried to dive under him, and he noticed it, so he didn't, no contact. They just both came down the front straightaway.
Blewitt drove into the car in front of him.
See, Blewitt tried
up into this guy.
Blewitt tried to dive down, down below him.
And the lap car.
Right,
he tried to push the lap car.
Right.
He actually
And they came down together, and then that guy blames him.
Blewitt was wrong, dead wrong.
And then this guy, and they blamed him, and he had nothing to do with it.
Starter Mike Sancelli and a few
he had
of
nothing.
the
He'd never touched him.
Wall Stadium
Until they
officials
spun over
discussing
here, then they made contact.
the wild finish.
All done with the picture.
Guy here to tell us what's happened on the radio. They're going to bring your car back over here.
Frank, do we know who the overall winner is?
Harry Reid takes the
1 minute,
victory.
they said.
All right, but who was the winner of the, don't we have to have the winner of the other 2?
In the 50-lap race, Vinnie Green. There's a Turkey Derby finish you're going to remember for a while.
Certainly are, Jeff. It definitely was exciting.
You know, it's too bad for Harry Reid not able to bring car number 14 over to victory lane. So hopefully they'll be able to run the car or tow it over to victory lane at least, so Harry can enjoy the pictures in the winner's circle. But boy, that's a finish that everybody's going to remember for a long, long time as Harry Reid takes the 3rd and final leg of Turkey Derby 21 action. John Blewitt crossed the finish line 2nd in that wild race, and that's what everybody's going to remember.
It definitely was close.
So we're trying to stay on the air to hear of the overall Turkey Derby winner as the points are being compiled. And once again on that one, Vinnie Green, 25 laps ago, it looked pretty plain, didn't it? Mike Carpenter finished 3rd in one race, was the runner-up in the winner in the 2nd one, and appeared to be winning this 3rd feature race when all of a sudden his luck went bad. And now it's about anyone's guess who may be the overall champion in Turkey Derby action. Could be Brian Cisco, He was second going into this final feature, and I believe he managed a top 5 finish. And we are waiting for word on that right now after a wild Turkey Derby 21. Vinnie Green, any thoughts after the action you've seen here today?
I'm sorry I missed it, Jeff. I would really like to be out on that racetrack, but actually, I had a lot of fun up here with you, too.
Well, we did. We had a ball, and it looks like we do have our overall street stock champion. I would say the Craig Wallace of Farmingdale. He won the first feature on Friday, was in the top 5 on Saturday. We see him down to Victory Lane area now. He has taken the walk down, so we understand that Craig Wallace, the overall street stock champion in Turkey Derby action, and Craig Wallace waits in Victory Lane along with Jim Nadeau from Action Enterprises to get his champion's trophy. Of course, $300 from Sunoco Racing Fuel going to the overall champion Craig Wallace. Many of the fans headed up towards the pit area now to chat with their favorite drivers. And we are getting word from Timing and Scoring that Rich Ely of Manasquan, at least unofficially at this moment, is the overall Pro Stock driving champion. Rich Ely with the win on Friday. I'll tell you, in the Street and Pro Stock divisions, the feature wins on the first day of Turkey Derby seem to make the biggest difference. There's Rich Ely, and he is dressed for the cooler weather as the sun begins to set in the west, but he is your overall Pro Stock driving champion for Turkey Derby 21.
Rich did a good job this weekend.
Once again, he did, and both champions in the Pro Stock and the Street Stock winning on Friday, and doing a great job as they take the checker flags in Turkey Derby action, as they take the overall champions. And once again, we're waiting for modified results to find out who is the overall Turkey Derby champion after a wild one. But I'll tell you what, if you can stick around for that, or even if you can't, watch TV 34's Let's Go Racing. Vinnie Green does. He watches Let's Go Racing. You can too, every Thursday and Friday night. 10 p.m. TV 34. We'll tell you the inside story, who was the overall champion, how'd they do it, get more information on the hot tempers and heated race car battles each and every week. TV 34's Let's Go Racing for the next several weeks will be focusing on Turkey Derby action. Harry Reid gets the chance to celebrate his feature win in main event number 3, driving the 14 over to the winner's circle. So, Vinnie Green, you've been around here a long time, and so have I. I don't ever remember a pit stop for a 2-tire change on the back straightaway.
I can never remember that one either, Jeff. Especially for being able to get your tires changed so you can go to Victory Lane. That's a new one in the record books here, I believe.
So a wild finish indeed, but Harry Reid enjoying Victory Lane here at Turkey Derby 21. And once again, we are trying to stay on the air until the announcement is made as to who had the best overall finishes after 3 main events for the modifieds in this Turkey Derby 21.
Harry's pretty happy right now. It's been a long time since he's won a modified feature down here.
Lee Greenwood awaiting word on the driving champion. All the officials at Wall Stadium and people like Lee Greenwood having a busy day here to get all the Turkey Derby action in, but they have accomplished it during the daylight hours, trying to get the folks out of here before it gets too awful cold.
Notice the fans are sticking around to see who wins the overall Turkey Derby.
So Harry Reid taking the third of our modified 50 lappers. Mike Carpenter had to lead there. Harry managed to take the win there, the 14 car.
the scales now and get it weighed.
So really the win is not quite yet official, right? What do they do? Post-race inspection, they check all these cars.
They check all the cars right before the race, and after the race they check all 3 cars. The top 3 cars are weighed, and they check fuel, carburetors, whatever they depending on the evening or the day, what they're going to check. They're probably going to weigh Harry right now and check inside of his carburetor to make sure that the carburetor hasn't been modified in any way. And if it is and he's okay as far as weight's concerned, he'll be the winner of this race.
All right, so everything kind of still unofficial here right now until those inspections are done and completed, and we continue to stay on to bring you the announcement of the overall Turkey Derby champion. All right, Tony Barbaris, one of our spotters for TV 34's Let's Go Racing, as he watches the action from up on the roof. And so as the scorers and tabulators add up the points from the 3 features, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back to say goodbye and to let you know who was the overall Turkey Derby champ right after this. Welcome back to Turkey Derby coverage. Brian Sisko has been crowned the overall champion of Turkey Derby 21 in the modified division. Like the other 2 divisions, a win in the first main event seemed to be the difference. Sent him on his way for the driving title, Vinny.
Consistency is the key in this race, Jeff. It's just like running for the points, except it's only 3 races long.
Well, there you have it. Brian Sisko joins Rich Ely and Craig Wallace in victory lane as the overall champion. Vinny Green, thanks for joining me today for all this action.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
All right, and thank you for watching. Don't forget, you can get the inside story on TV 34's Let's Go Racing each and every Thursday and Friday night at 10 p.m. Now on behalf of Vinny Green and everyone here in auto racing, I'm Jeff Gravatt. Thanks for watching our coverage of Turkey Derby 21.